So, very good evening, everyone. I am again back with an interesting session lined up for all of us today. Uh, I will always emphasize the learning of a academician, which is as important as learning of a small child. We often grow with what we have learned, and it often makes a deep impact of what new information we are getting. And the impact which it puts on us has a greater benefit because that is again uh, forwarded it to the students which we come across. So when you inform a faculty or an academician, your knowledge is actually spread 10 times more. That is what I believe in, at least 10 times more. So depending upon what the information an academician would like to gather, and also, when we identified there was a gap between what the academia is actually having now and what the corporate and the industries are implementing, we thought that there is a gap between how the AIs and the so-called the transition to a new industry is something which is lagged in the academicians when they are often following the pedagogy which was often used earlier. So there was a little bit of new uh, arena which we needed to explore. And with this intention, we had come across or developing this FDP and gathered good speakers across the world and to have a phenomena which is learning, which is knowledge sharing, and to have the benefit of these people and to gain upon their expertise. So in the same lines, I am honored today. I am delighted today to introduce our the speaker, first speaker for today, Mr. Sunil Kumar sir, who is sir has actually very explicitly told me not to say much about him, but then that would not do justice to what the great personality he is. So, sir, I won't be taking much of your time as I know that the session is as important as anything else. But then, yes, where the introduction is due, we should actually acknowledge it. So, sir is a mechanical engineer and masters in industrial management from IIT Kanpur. Sir has an experience of more than 35 years in India and abroad. Currently, Vice President and Global Head of Profit Center India operations. Sir has a special expertise in building institutions through process mindset, greenfield startups, functional experience, complete plant operations, IT, HR, purchase, and various overseas operation managements he has seen. Sir also has a sound understanding of administration with a global mindset and strong quantitative and conceptual abilities. With an experience as this diverse and strong background of technology, Sir has provided excellent customer satisfaction and the management of workload exposure to all aspects of diverse industry. So without a further ado, over to you, sir. We are so honored and delighted to have you here with us. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence.
Thanks a lot, Gurbani, Dr. Gurbani. Okay, and good evening to everybody. I'm audible now? Pretty okay?
Yes, sir. Perfectly fine.
Okay. So, just to give a brief about the session today. So, this is a concept called process-based organization. I think this is something which is not very prevalent in India. And we implemented this concept in 2010 and deployed across the group. So I request all of you to please listen this concept very carefully because this will really challenge the mindset we are caring about how do we operate or how do we manage an organization. So let's understand the basic premise around which we develop the organization, okay? The first premise that we have is functional structure. It means, let's say there is a manufacturing setup. So we have production, we have mechanical maintenance, we have electrical maintenance, we have electronics, we have quality control, XYZ, we will have many departments. And all the department heads will integrate at the plant head level. And this is how the organization gets developed most of the places, okay? So if you know about the horizontal organization, we call it, how do we develop an organization not around the functional structure, but about the process. So before I go into sort of speaking more about it, let's have a pictorial understanding about what I am saying. Okay, let's go one by one. So is it visible now, everybody?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
So let's say this is the, I think it's clear to everybody. So typically what happens when we create in a structure, this is the way we cluster people. Let's say this cluster is all about process. This is all about maintenance, all about quality, all about, let's say, system and process, all about all other issues, okay? So this is the way we look at the structure. We call it functional based structure. What is the problem? Before we get into the detail as to why we are moving to this structure. So I'm saying out of my 35 years of direct experience of industry, the first problem that is there कि प्रोडक्शन की जिम्मेदारी किसकी है? Who is accountable for production? Okay, the production guys will say we are accountable when there is a problem in the machine. They will wait for the machine maintenance guys to rectify the machine, and the problem goes to maintenance team. Similarly, if there's a quality problem, it goes to quality team. So invariably, we'll find that there are too much of inter-functional conflict which is there in the organization, leading to an inharmonious team working. And there's a concept called time lag. So there's a problem. There's a problem. If you want to attend, it'll take, let's say, 10 minutes time. But because there is a structure, for example, if there's a problem in the maintenance operator will speak to the supervisor and the supervisor to the manager of maintenance. And then he will talk to the production manager and then goes to the operator. So there is a vertical movement of the communication without having any real gain. So in this structure, what happens typically, the mechanical maintenance operator and the process operator stays together and they form a team called process-based structure. Now what happens typically, let's say there are 3 shifts. You can see we have created a cluster of same number of manpower, but all the team have multifunctional team as an integral part of the production team. So the accountability is to produce quality production, no segregation, no division of work. The team is accountable for quality production. That's it. So now you may ask, what is so great about it? So let's understand what is so great about it. Okay. So this is 3-layer structure whereby the operator integrates with the shift in charge and the shift in charge integrate with the plant head. There is no third or fourth. There is no 4-layer in the structure. 3-layer, you are hitting from the worker to the plant head. Okay. So every team is self-sufficient. They do not seek the expertise of functional expertise from other higher up. The team is so competent that they can manage most of the problem at their shift. There are a few very capable resources, very capable resources. They will operate in general shift as an expert. For any high level problem, they will get engaged. So let's understand how the entire concept works. So let's say this is the first structure. It's visible, everybody? Everybody can see this? Am I audible or is everybody's clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, we can see.
Okay. So let's say this is the first structure. You can see that? So this is the department head and you have all the guys reporting to him. Departmental head, all the guys reporting to him. So let's say there are 5 departments. One is production, quality, mechanical maintenance, electronics, electrical, and let's say system and process. Okay. So these 6 departments invariably gets integrated at the departmental head level. We call it FBS, functional based structure. Now what happens typically in the second stage, we create a team consisting of all the functional competency in one shift. Could you see that? Okay. So you may ask, what is so great about it? So what happens typically, this structure after 6 months time, or let's say 3 months time, this will become like this. So one person starts getting 2 skill, 3 skill, 4 skill. So that is how over the period of time, all the guys by design gets into multifunctional competence acquisition, because that is how they are encouraged to grow in the organization, that if you acquire the competence, multiple competence, your possibility of growth is very good. So you can see, so in the third stage, you can see everybody is blurred now. Every person is very blurred. So a person can do the process, can do the mechanical maintenance, can do little bit of maintenance. So that is how, after some time, the team becomes completely competent to manage everything at the shift level. Now you may ask, is it practical? Okay, so when we started this concept in 2010, we also thought it's not practical. So when we started this concept, we thought that this is something not practical, but we ensured that everybody is trained very rigorously with regard to the concept. So after 1 year, it was impossible for them to think about functional structure. Now, I would like to take out few concepts which is so very important in making this concept work. Let's go one by one, okay? The first concept is called, competency building model. So I would like to present you a simple concept. What happens at the competency building model? Request you please concentrate on the Excel file that I'm going to present to all of you. So let us say, you can see that everybody? Okay, let's say there is a shift head, okay? There are 4 persons in the department, and this is the grade. LM is lead, we call it lead manager 1, 2, 3. The shift manager, we call it lead manager. We don't call it a typical assistant manager, or we just call it lead manager, okay? This is the qualification of the shift in charge, okay? Now, this is the competence we want of all the shift in charge, that is C3. Let me explain what is C3, C1, C2. So C1, C2, C3, C4, C5. These are competency level of a person for each function. For example, we want the shift in charge to be a competency level C3 in process. We want the person to be competency level C2 in mechanical. Instrumentation and electrical, we want C2. So this is how we want the person to have the competence when he becomes a shift in charge. It's clear, everybody? So what is happening here, that we are targeting each shift in charge having competence of different functional areas at the time of joining, so that they are very clear. Unless I acquire these capability, I cannot grow to the organization. I will come back to what does it mean C1, C2, what does it mean? But just to give a perspective, so every person is now getting monitored for each functional skill, so that at the end of the year, we have the evaluation criteria as to where are they vis-a-vis the target competency level. Okay, now let's look at very carefully what does C1, C2, C3, C4, C5 mean. Okay, before that, let me just tell you how we entice people to get into the path of development by design. It's not that they are forced to get developed, but the entire structure is such that they have no option but to acquire multifunctional competency day by day. Okay, so what happens typically? I'll put it here. Okay, is it visible now, everybody? The Excel sheet? I want somebody to endorse it, otherwise I will not know whether it is visible or not. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We can see it properly.
So what happens, let's say there is an organization consisting of 350 people in that. I'm just putting a number, okay, just to sort of. Now, we are targeting 617 competency and actually is 468. Let's understand this very carefully. Okay. So you can see here, right? The competency C1, we give weightage of 0.25 only. You can see that here. I'll just put it a little bigger. So C1, we give only 0.25. C2, we give 0.5. C3, we go 0.7. This is the way we give the competency for each level in the process department. For example, and if a person acquires, let's say in the process competency C3, he gets a weightage of 0.7. So sum total of all the functional competency, when we add up, we get to a level, what we call it? Competency inventory. So the point of time, I'm just showing the old file because of the privacy reason. So this 2012 file, we had a total competency of 468. Target was 617. So our average competency level is 2.39. Target is 3.15. Let's understand this carefully before we go to the deeper level of understanding. 2.39 typically means a person has on average 2.3 or 2.4 competency inventory. It means he will have some competency in process, he will have some competence in mechanical, some electrical, some quality, system, process, everything put together. He is residing at competency level of 2.3 times. So this would mean that if he is operating in a setup of 6 functional competency area, if he is very mature, he will be close to 5 competency level at each person. So if he grows very well in all the functional area, he can get to a level of 5. So one person is capable of delivering the functional competency of 5 people of functional structure. In a functional structure, whatever is possible with 5%, this person is available to deliver at his own level. This is the power of this process-based organization. Now you may ask why it is so important. First of all, there is a typical problem in functional structure. After 5, 6, 10 years, there is little that a person can grow. But if you have a process-based organization, now he's targeting not one functional area, he's targeting 5 functional areas. So there is no stagnation. He can grow as much as 20 years, 25 years, because getting to a level of 5 competency level will require at least 20 years. So there is excitement in the life, there is excitement in the job, there is something to learn. Okay, so if you got any query, any question, I request you please note it down. I will come back and we'll have about 15 minutes, 20 minutes time for the question answer session. Okay, at this point of time, please understand one thing. This will not happen just by dreaming. This will not happen just by dreaming. So what are the 5, 6 ingredients for building the organization? Number 1, there is a concept called PDC. We call it People Development Cell. So this particular department is 100% dedicated for functional competence development at each level. Everybody must get developed under the umbrella of PDC. This department does not report to production. It does not report to HR. They report to plant head. It means the accountability of developing resources lies with the plant head, not HR. Okay. Now you may ask why it is important for us to have that plant head accountable for the development, because the plant head himself is getting evaluated on average competency level each person has at the end of each quarter. Okay, let's go to third stage. Now this is a typical policy we have. We call it how a person will grow in the company. Okay, so we have said, everybody can see it here? Visible, or should I enlarge it?
Yes, sir. It's perfectly visible. You could just enlarge it a little bit, sir.
Okay, just hold on. Is it okay? Yeah. So you can see the competency level of 25, 40, 60, 80, 95. This is the scope. Okay. So this is how we give the promotion benefit. First year, second year, third year. Okay, you can see that here. So very clear. Now comes the competency. This is how we define the competency. C1 is the basic knowledge. C2 is the basic knowledge plus moderate skill. Basic knowledge plus skill plus initiative. And C4. So we define very categorically what does every level means. I will come a little deeper into it. Just give me some moment. Then I go to this level. So a person control, these are departmental code. This is a person can grow like this. You can see that. And this is the way they develop. Okay. So one person can move. These are the organization grade. Okay. This is the competency level. You can see. A one person can move depending upon what is the competency acquires from any level to any level, depending upon what is the competency he is acquiring. So this is a policy document signed and released. So everybody is accountable. How a person in winder will grow, how a person in control room will grow. For every person, there is a trajectory depending upon how does he acquire the competence, multifunctional competence. And this is the policy document, which is the basis for him to commit to the functional competency acquisition in due course of time. Okay. Now, just to give a better understanding of what does it mean or how does it work, I'll just tell you a few things. So let us say this is a typical document. Now, this is instrument department. Okay. Now, this is the competency of C1. C1, we want to become a competent instrumentation engineer. You have to acquire these skills. Now we are coming down to skills. You have to manifest these skills if you want to become a C1 competent operator, similarly C2 competent operator, similarly C3 competent operator. This I am talking about instrumentation only. Similarly, there will be the trajectory path in all the functional area. This would mean that each function will have C1 to C5 clearly defined skills which you have to acquire and manifest. TH means theoretical and OTG means on the job training. So this is how we have a clear map as to who has to acquire what skill we want to grow in the organization. It's not clear, everybody? So now we have talked about what is C1, C2, C3, C5. We also talked about how do we entice employee so that he commits to the development process. Then we talked about how do we structure the multifunctional team at the shift level. How they commit to each other. And the fourth, we said that we have a clearly laid down career growth plan for each person in each area. This concept is very powerful for three reasons. Now, number one, everybody is highly motivated because he has so much to learn. Number two, you don't have to talk to anybody for solving a problem. We become so much competent due course of time that there is silent working. You don't bother anybody. No supervisor, no manager. The entire team is totally competent to manage this operation. The India operation that we have today is the best in the industry. Today, whatever we are producing in terms of uptime, in terms of quality, it would be best in the industry. It means it will be number one. Because the team is so much competent, they do not wait. Okay? So similarly, I showed you the this is mechanical. This is mechanical competence. Okay? This is all about mechanical. Similarly, there will be a process. So what I'm saying, for each department, there is a clearly laid down competency grid, which is 100% based on the skill. So either you get trained on the skill or you get trained for the on the theoretical aspect, science of what you do. Okay. So this is the way we monitor the competency. You can see that. So these are the business unit. For example, this is one unit which make one type of product called PET. This is another type of product, we call it BOPP. These are different product line, okay? This is BO3, some other department. So each department is 100% self-sufficient. 100% self-sufficient. They have the mechanical resource, they have the instrumentation resource, they have all the resources are available at each business unit, means plant operation unit. They do not depend on anybody else for their work. So these are, I'll go a little more deeper now. Okay. So let's go to the concept. Now this is how, as you said, this is the shift in charge. This is the control room operator. This is a field operation, chemical lab. You can see everybody is being mapped 100% for competency. 100%. Okay. This is BU3. This is you can see everybody is, so all the business unit, everybody is monitored for competency level. Okay. Now we'll go a little deep into understanding the concept. Okay. Let me just pull out some more stuff. So just to give a perspective, there is a job description also. We'll come back to that. Okay. Now let's go into the deeper level of concept understanding. Now the concept is multifunctional skill, how this helps the organization. You can see this here. This is called touch point. Touch point. There is a concept called touch point. A job is being done by how many people in the company. It's called touch point. The concept is how do we reduce the touch point for getting the work done? So in the process-based organization, number of touch point comes down and becomes singular point. So a point comes when everybody is 100% capable of solving the problem at his level. The touch point goes down. The biggest concept in the entire process-based organization is that your touch point goes down. I'm just giving an example, okay? So let's say some 10 years ago, when you go to Thai embassy and you ask for visa on arrival, there used to be 5 departments, 5 persons doing your visa screening. Okay, the first person will ensure all the documents are there. Second person will check all the documents are filled up appropriately. Third person will put the data in the system. Fourth person will ensure that the data put is correct. And the fifth person will then issue your visa. Okay. So 5% doing the visa process. Today, if you go to Thailand, nobody does anything. Single person does everything. If you happen to go to Thailand, for example, and if you apply for visa, they will issue the visa there itself. You don't have to go anywhere. The person who is issuing the visa is totally empowered to issue the visa. So from 6 point, it has become 1 point. So in a process-based organization, this is the intention. It means the completeness of job. Every person do the larger chunk of job. In the functional-based structure, we divide the work and we disintegrate the ownership. The speed of the work goes down. In a process-based organization, the complete job is assigned to a person. And so he is not only empowered, but also a strong sense of ownership and accountability in doing the job. I feel I'm not getting very abstract. Okay, these are the concepts which we have already implemented. I will go a little deeper into understanding. Okay. So what happens typically? Now, these are the benefit of PBO, process-based organization. Touch point. I said touch point. In the year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, the touch point goes down as you become more mature. We are now almost 12 years, 14 years of PBO functioning in India and all other units. The touch point has gone down. Team size has gone down because after some time, everybody becomes so capable, then the less number of team can do the same job. Ownership goes up. Ownership goes up. This is how we set up the organization in PB-based structure. Now, what happens typically? Number of person at the head level goes down. Operating level goes down. Shift in charge goes down. Why? Because if the shift in charge is not there, somebody in the team can play that role because there will be somebody who can deliver the result at the shift in charge level. Okay? This is the improvement. So, can I request somebody is to be on mute, please? Okay. So this is how learning curve. So what happens typically as the time passes, his improvement mindset goes up because now he can see the complete work. Earlier, he could see only functional view of the job. Now he can see the complete job. His ability to make a change is huge. He can take transformational decision. Operation improves. So this is how the organization improves with time. Skill, process skill, mechanical skill, instrumentation skill, electrical skill. You can see everything with time goes up because there is structure to give emphasis on the competence. Okay, this is the brief about the enabling factor. Now we'll talk something about. This is a powerful concept in the process-based organization. So what happens typically? When we start the process-based organization, you will have many problems. Okay, many problems. With time, these exceptions goes down. It means it becomes plateau. Okay. Now, this is where we are today on the black level, and this is what we want. So in the process-based organization, what happens? We'll just go a little down, understand. This is what happens. Too many problem, less problem, less problem, less problem, less problem, less problem. Because the team who is managing the problem can experience learning and growth at that level. So what happens? The number of exceptions that you have goes down and your operation becomes smoother and smoother and smoother. This is based on the true data. So you can assume that whatever I am presenting, this is something which is based on the fact. Okay. This is once again the reaction time. How much time we take in terms of resolving the problem and taking preventive action. As time passes, you can see the time to prevent a problem also goes down. Okay. This is how the process-based organization work. You can see once again, time spent in managing the crisis too high. With time, it goes down. Time available building capability with time goes up. So in total, what you can say, with time, you will see that a job, because the competition cannot give a job with multifunctional bandwidth. So after some time, the employees find it difficult to leave this company because they cannot get this environment, cannot get this empowerment in any other company. So this company that I'm talking about is one of the best employer. There is so much to learn in this structure. Okay, this is value-added ratio. How much? There are many things which you can monitor with time. Okay, so there are many things which I think if I speak about theoretical concept, it will take a huge amount of time. But largely, I'm just trying to sort of summarize as to what is the structure. Okay, there are 10 elements of the structure. First component is in the process-based organization. The team is developed initially with multifunctional competency resource. But they are told in the very beginning that with time, you will have to acquire other competency and you have to become a multifunctional resource. Your growth will depend as to how many competency you acquire with time. That would be the basis of your growth. Number two, there is a very clearly laid definition of what is C1, what is C2, what is C3, what is C4, what is C5. So at each level, every person knows if I want to become a C1 competent mechanical operator, what is that I need to know? If I want to become a C1 competent process operator, what is that I need to know? So everybody from the day one is very clear that if I want to become a C5 competent operator, I will have to acquire these skills. Number three, most important, every person is accountable for resolving the issue at the shift level. The plant has only three layers: the operator, the shift in charge, and the plant head. Nobody else. So everything gets done in the shortest possible communication time. We call it information lag, time lag. That is not there in the department. Number four, there is a clear cut, very clear cut assessment criteria so that the HR is not involved. The people development cell is 100% accountable for assessing the competency of each operator based on manifested competency at the shop floor. Your theoretical knowledge has no meaning. So unless you manifest those competency at the shop floor, you will not be given that competency level. So the PDC, People Development Cell, is totally capable of managing the operation with the sole objective of improving the competency level each person. When they join, everybody has a competency level 1. In 2 to 3 years' time, they get to a competency level of around 2.5. Somebody may be 3, somebody may be 4. So just imagine 1% doing the job of 3 functional competence. Just imagine the empowerment, the empowerment speed, the quality of work and the solution you will have if the person is having so much of competence. Number 5, the most important part, this particular concept assumes that you are accountable for quality production. Simple. Mechanical maintenance, instrumentation, production problem, it is bloody your problem. You have to deliver quality production, budgeted quantity, and everybody in the team is accountable for the single objective, no multifunctional objective. There is no accountability for what is the uptime, what is downtime. No, that's not important. Important is how much of production I have got it with A grade. That's it. Everybody is very clear. Number 6, when you drive this concept, you have to be very, very careful that you do not keep people with a very huge functional mindset. This is very important because when you start the operation, what will happen? A lot of employees will have a huge functional mindset, which will inhibit them from getting into this structure. So when we started the plant, 80% of the employees we took fresh 6 months before the startup, and we developed each and every person from the scratch for 6 months, and then we deployed in the process-based organization. But what we realized that if you have somebody with a huge functional mindset, it would be impossible for us to change him. Number 7, the most important part once again is that this structure that we are talking about, a process-based structure, is something which goes hand in hand with the mindset of leader. As a leader, you have to time and again say that we want teamwork. We want teamwork because your approach to team compared to functional team structure is different here. When you say team, it means team with functional competence level. So team is very powerful. Number 7, exception. Every exception is an opportunity. Every exception is an opportunity. So every time there is a problem, the SIP team has to present as to what they have done in preventing the problem once for all. So there is a YY prepared at the SIP level within 24 hours of the problem. So every time there is a problem, there is a YY. So we have a huge institutional knowledge in the organization. Whenever there is a problem, we can refer that particular problem had happened 2 years ago. Please pull up that detail. There's a huge repository today in terms of YY. We have so many YY in the company, which is being made by the people at the ground level. Number 8, this concept that we are talking about is not easy to implement because we have functional mindset. Because we have functional mindset. Unless we graduate to a process-based mindset, it is impossible for us to drive this concept. I'm just trying to pull out. This is the problem. This is the structure, okay? Last but not least, when we implemented this concept, we used to monitor the competence inventory almost every quarter. Now we are monitoring it once in a year. But I tell you, unless the management is very careful about this competency level, this will not happen. Okay, so these are some of the things which I wanted to present to all of you. This is a very, very powerful concept. This is a concept called horizontal compression. It means we are compressing the horizontal department to, for example, in this company that we are talking about, we have only one department. There is no department at all. We have only one department called production. That's it. Production department has got everything. We don't have mechanical maintenance. We don't have instrumentation. We don't have nothing. Only one department. Just imagine the power of the structure that we have. This is all we have from my side. I would request all of you, if you have any query, I would be more than happy to answer it.
Thank you so much,
Yeah, good
sir.
evening.
Wonderful session, sir. I would request all the participants to take the opportunity of having sir with us and to ask the queries that they might be having about the details that sir has given about process-based organization. Before I allow others to ask, sir, I have a query. I know that your organization is totally paperless. Could you just touch upon how you have been able to do it?
So there's a process, we call it. We have a project called Project EASE, Project EASE. Okay. The concept is, how do we make the organization available to everybody without asking for it? Just imagine what I'm saying. Okay. The Mintu is there. For example, earlier for product data sheet, you will write a mail to somebody and he will then answer with his sweet time. Okay. We decided nothing doing. Everything that a person requires will be available by design at his fingertips. So we have automated everything. So there is no latency. Nobody asks about anything in the company except when there is a new thing. So everything is repeat in nature. For example, there's a platform called Project Edge, EDGE. Okay, this particular platform is dedicated for all the product related knowledge. It is being maintained by the corporate office in R&D. Across the company, more than 3,000 employees have the access to the entire database. There is a project called Project Silver. Okay, it has got all the training material to all the units at fingertips. You don't have to ask from anybody. Whatever training material you want, it's beautifully documented. You can just download and read it at your sweet will. No question asked, you are free. So everything that you see here, everything. For example, there is a website, there is a site called Project, we call it agile, which is primarily meant for knowing the customer application. So wherever there is a need for knowing the customer application, you will access that particular portal and download. Similarly, the entire operation is now SAP based, so it is completely ERP, and we try to ensure everything is approved on the system. So in nutshell, I would say, at least I have not seen any sign that I sign. I don't sign any document. Whatever I do, I have to do on the system. So it is completely paperless in a way.
So, sir, we have a few questions. I'll first take up the question by Dr. Pramod Naik. Sir wants to know how the expertise in one field can be evolved as multitasking concept is implemented.
So can you repeat once again?
Sir is asking. In fact, I would invite Pramod sir, Dr. Pramod Naik. Sir, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I would invite you to ask sir your question directly. Sir will be able to answer. Please, sir.
Yes. Good evening, sir.
Good
My
evening.
question is that when I want to develop competency in particular field, I have to focus on a particular area where I am good at or I am having expertise and I want to develop further. So in this context, there are many people, those who are expert in a particular field and they know the solution for problem arise in that field. So if I will go for multitasking, suppose I am a person of mechanical engineer, I will do electrical, I will do instrumentation, and I know as the passage of time, I will learn and I can handle any problem situation as far as my concern. So how expertise can be?
Okay. Yeah. So there are three points here. Okay. Number one is when we form the team, you can see when we form the team, you can see the screen here. You can see the screen here.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you form the team here, you see there are different color boxes. So these
Yes.
color boxes represent that the persons are available in the team with function heavy competence to start with. For example, if somebody is there with process capability, he would be 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 in the team, but he will be the only person. Similarly, mechanical, 5 out of 5, but only person. So this is how we build the team. So the competency is available in the shift without fail. But over the period, what happens? Since they are accountable for group performance, slowly and slowly the blurring happens. The blurring happens so smoothly that even you do not know how they get blurred. So they have the core competency area, but parallelly with time, they become other functional. For example, with this guy, the guy with the purple color, will have 5 competency in instrumentation. In the year 1, he may acquire C1 competency in the process. Maybe acquire C1 competency in mechanical. In the 4th year, it is possible that he retains the competency of instrumentation 5, but becomes 3 competent in process, maybe 2 competent in mechanical. So he becomes a little more multifunctional resource. Point number 1. Point number 2, what you're asking is very important, that in order to ensure that high quality problem is being resolved in this particular organization that we are talking about, we have 3 very high quality resource reporting to the plant head, so that if there are very big problem, these high quality experts are available to support the functional requirement. There will be one person of mechanical with competency C6, C7. There can be one person with instrumentation with competency C7. So those are the high quality resource, highly paid resources. They come in the general shift and report to the plant head directly for all the high quality functional requirement. Third point, whatever I am saying, This will not happen unless you have a clear visibility as to what is C1, what is C2, what is C3. Unless you have the visibility, you will not be able to navigate the competency growth chart. You have to be very, very clear what is that I'm expecting from each person at each level so that they know if this is what I get, this is how I grow. Very clear. Any other question?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, my question is that because I am having experience in working in defense aircrafts
Yeah,
where there are trades of different like instrumentation, electrical, mechanical, radio communication like this. And in that field, they particularly sign the, rather I can say, the feasibility of this aircraft will fit to fly of the each department of electrical and all these things. Those are expert in that. But
right.
actually, if a particular situation arises, war-like situation, sometimes that is instrument problem and one electrical staff is there, instrument staff is there. He cannot handle that because he cannot sign that aircraft will fly fit by, because I know that work it is doing by virtue of knowledge transfer between the employee or between
Right.
the colleague. But the
Right.
expert has to sign it because he is the authority to sign the fitness of that aircraft to fly. So
Okay.
in that case, if my expertise is electrical, so I will focus only on the electrical part, then I know better that this will be better. But
Okay.
in multitasking environment, it may be for generalized work and all these things, but expertise work, there must be a particular only expert domain.
I
My
told you,
question is.
that's why I told you, that in the general shift, in each BU, in each business unit, you will have 3 to 4 high quality experts with the competency level 3,
Okay,
4, 6.
okay,
So
okay.
the structure allows that. I agree with you. We cannot take so much of chance, but 80 to 90% of the situation gets addressed at the shift level if you have this structure.
Okay, okay. Shift level
Very,
work. It is meant the floor level.
Yeah,
very
that's
good.
right.
Very good evening, sir.
Good evening, good evening.
Uh, my question is how you are managing the knowledge side of the entire process, recording of a decision taken by the team given situation. Are you capturing these kind of knowledge on a regular basis through systems or processes? Number one. Number two, how frequently you are trying to update your SOP, because that could be a one reflection of knowledge generated within that period or time frame from the last updation. And third question on the similar notion, have you kind of a structure? We have a kind of virtual team, as you mentioned. 3 experts are directly reporting to the plant head on a given situation scenario. Or in a typical situation, if more experts are required, there could be a virtual team where that typical problem can be thrown out to the team of experts rather than those who are reporting. Beyond that, like we have in medical science, when opinion you are taking from other experts on a given typical scenario or typical cases before taking any action. If that kind of scenario have you gone through? So there are
Okay.
3 questions.
Excellent. It's a very good question. Okay.
Sir, sir,
Let's go one by one. Okay.
sir.
So let's say there's a team called, we call it process commando. So it's real
Wow,
commandos. Okay.
wow, yeah.
So all the experts of the group, we have got 6 units across the world. The top-notch professionals in that area, we have a process commando team. So what happens if there's a problem which the unit is struggling to resolve? The entire problem is thrown back to the entire group, process commando team, and they get into resolving the issue in the shortest possible time. And this
Great,
team
great, great.
report to COE, is CO. It means
Okay,
it's a very high power team.
got
And
it.
they are a huge empowerment. Okay. Similarly, let's say there is some capital purchase requirement. Okay, there
Okay,
are some expert in the group. There are 2 or 3 people who are absolutely expert on project requirement, capex requirement, and they have the complete knowledge about vendor, about
Your connection is gone, sir.
Yeah. So these are
Kindly repeat, sir. There's a
otherwise, as you rightly said.
kindly
Yeah.
repeat, sir,
Is
because
it clear now?
yes, it's now clear. Kindly repeat your second answer.
Yeah. So one was I told you process commando. Second is there is some project expert in the group. For example, whenever you want to buy something, anything, we have a project team coming and giving the expertise. Unless they sign off, we are not allowed to purchase anything.
Got it.
Similarly,
that is emergency situation.
Yeah. Similarly, there are some central purchasing function. When a high purchasing requirement, they will get into the action to ensure that we get the best deal in whatever we are doing. So we do not lose out the group level functional competency. We do not lose out. We retain it. First point you said as to how do we retain knowledge. This is very good thing you said, When somebody leaves this company and go to the competition, the first thing he miss out is the amount of learning you have in this company, you cannot have in any competition. So it's a hugely structured way of retaining knowledge. The first knowledge, we call it why. Every time there's a problem, the why will get created and it will be flashed to the entire group. It's not limited to the unit. Everybody in the company will get to know there's a problem and this is how we resolved it. There will be a group across the globe for safety. Every time there's a complaint on safety, everybody gets to know. Every time there's a complaint for the product quality, everybody in the group gets to know this company has got this quality problem and this is how they have solved it. So we do not lose out any knowledge that we acquire in the process of solving it. For example, when you go to customer, you have to necessarily prepare the visit report and you have to upload the visit report. If you do not do that, your travel bill is not approved.
Got it.
It's very, very regimented and people can't take liberty with it. Any other question?
Yeah. Now I'm now curious to know about the kind of the IT system that you have put in place to capture all these data at right place and the dissemination part. ERP you have already mentioned, which I think look after the entire planning and decision making or day-to-day data acquisition. But
you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
So I'm now showing you live. Okay. Now this is a accident that has happened.
Okay.
On 17th October.
Okay.
Now this is the report which is getting flashed across the group.
Oh wow.
This is live. Okay. This is live. I'm saying live. Okay.
With all the images and everything.
Yeah. Okay. And not only this, I'll just tell you what is that means. So here you can see. Here you can see this accident group. I'm opening this once again. This will have not less than 50 or 60 people in the group.
Great.
So everybody in the company gets to know if this complaint, this particular safety issue has happened. You should be aware of it. Similarly, there's a complaint. So this complaint has happened on 24th. It means yesterday at 3:30. Everybody gets to know this complaint has happened. Got it? This is the prelim report. After this, they will have another detailed report as to what is the plan they have to mitigate the complaint. So this is the live thing. It is not that everybody can take liberty. So this is live things. Everything that you see here is live. Okay. So there will be many.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Any other question you have?
No, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You have gone out of the way to explain me. Thank you very much, sir.
Any other query? Any other question?
Sir, Sunil sir, may I?
Yeah.
Very good evening, sir. Myself, Dr. Mamta Chawla from Amity University. So I really appreciate your process-based view. one thing I would like to add, you were talking about that experts are there. So we have management by objectives and management by exception. That means what are the exceptional conditions when you need to involve those experts. So that way, I think the senior people and the expert people, we can outsource or we can have insider only a few. So I would say conservation is possible. So the only thing, because I have seen in banks also, rather than having a multiple desks, we have now single window clearance kind of thing. So with my coupon, I can go to any of the bank to have my all the facility. The same person, that a relationship manager is going to be accountable for my concern with the bank as a customer I'm talking about. The only thing is how in India specifically we are implementing these kind of process-based approach. Because that is something I think it's governance, means the top.
Mamta, I can
How
tell
we are
you.
inculcating
Yeah.
all these things.
Yeah, Mamta, I can tell you very honestly, this process-based organization is very nascent in India because the entire education process that we have is functional. So you become mechanical engineer, you become electrical engineer. So creating a functional process-based organization is a huge challenge in India, and people do identify themselves with the functional domain expertise. So if I tell a mechanical engineer to become the part of the plant, he will say, no, I want to remain in mechanical engineer. Okay. So that's a huge problem. So let me confess it. Whatever I'm telling you, this requires a huge leadership commitment. This will not happen. But
True.
once you get into the rhythm of process-based organization, employees love it. They'll love it. It is so beautiful, so fast, so efficient, so elegant that you really enjoy working in this process-based organization. But let me confess, it is not something which is prevalent in India so easily.
Yeah, I think
Let
that is
me
the
let,
truly team spirit. Yeah,
Yeah,
the sentence you have used, that yes, the outcome, that means it's accountability of each and every team member of
yeah,
organization, that A class production. So if I'm talking about customer satisfaction or my student satisfaction, so I can't really take off my hands that admission team or accounts or
yeah,
examination team is not
yeah,
handling these case well. So this orientation is still missing.
yeah.
How like it's a so huge
So what happens,
institution I'm
Mamta?
working.
Yeah, Dr. Mamta, what happens typically? So there's a concept called uh, flow of design and the design of flow. I think I'll take 2 minutes to explain what is this concept called. So when you're designing a flow, you should be very careful as to what is that you want to drive. Okay. So most of us do not spend adequate time in designing the flow. काम कैसे होना चाहिए without breaking it. So what happens typically, we are not able to see the job in totality. अब जब ये visibility नहीं होती है, if we don't have the visibility of how the work will get done without breaking it, we end up creating a functional tunnel. Okay. Now comes the flow of design. So you create a design of flow, how the flow should get designed, then marching on the flow is easy. Flowing in the design is very easy, but designing a flow is very big. Most of us, I'm saying most of us, do not spend quality time in designing the flow. We are very good in flowing the design. जो भी काम हो गया उस पर चलते रहो. बट कोई आदमी प्रोएक्टिवली डिजाइन कैसे होना चाहिए फ्लो का, इस पे कोई ध्यान नहीं देता है. दैट इज व्हाई मोस्ट ऑफ अस मिस आउट.
sir,
So
have
in
you have
classes mein I'm teaching service blueprint. Service blueprint mein I'm talking about where there's an interaction between departments, front desk, back desk, we are talking about, but actually that service design or service blueprint is not implemented. That means people are not guided.
या
हम बोलते हैं silos because we are working independently, not understanding
या
what I'm teaching to my students, how it is relevant to other subject teachers. हम बात ही नहीं करते आपस में. I'm sorry, I'm using the statement now. तो
अब देखो,
मैं
अब देखो
स्टैट
ये
की
है,
टीचर हूँ.
अब देखो ये है, ठीक है. अब देखो दिस इज स्ट्रक्चर अराउंड विच यू वर्क. ओके, हम लोग कस्टमर को बीच में रखते हैं यहाँ पर, उसके बाद प्रोसेस, उसके बाद पीपल, उसके बाद प्रॉफिट. This is how we design the structure when we design the structure. So customer को बीच जो भी आप process design करो, we should see that customer and backward. Customer and backward. How do we fulfill the requirement of customer? If the work has to be done at the shift level, for the quality of work they are supposed to do, it has to happen with customer and backward. Most of us, I'm saying most of us, do not have the visibility of how we are servicing a customer. In absence of that mindset of serving a customer, you cannot create that cohesive team purpose. That's where most of us miss out.
Sir,
Thank you, sir.
can kindly allow me to take you to the two different aspects of entire thing. One thing is what we call business continuity in case of any incident. So, do you have any kind of business continuity backup plans in case of issues? You have mentioned about the process that teams are in place, but in case of serious disruptions, is there any continuity plan?
So
Yeah.
there was a flood in month of July
Yes.
in our company. Okay, the entire plant got submerged in flood. Okay, so we had a contingency meeting on the same day, and we knew that this plant is not going to start soon.
Yes.
Okay, so we spent almost 2 days mapping all the customer requirement, and we service those customers from all the units across the world, irrespective of the cost. Okay, we did it. So every time we sign up a contract with the customer, we have a contingency plan. Explain to him that if something goes wrong here, we will be willing to supply the material from this particular unit. So it is happening. So a flood example I've given just now, it's very recent.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Sir,
Hats off to
sir,
hats off to
one thing.
Yeah.
Sir, one thing I want to add here. Just in India, especially in Delhi, the Delhi Metro Corporation, it is an example of excellence. And now driverless metro is running in Magenta line, and total operation is controlled from the control room. And I hope that this kind of mindset India is having now to moving towards automation, process-based organization, and having very less, rather I can say, a chance of error, avoiding the error, and the mindset of changing the work style also. So we are moving towards it, and we have already proven this Delhi metro. Nobody can, because Delhi's traffic problem is solved at least somehow, and metro is the lifeline in Delhi and other cities also. Now it is expanding. So we are doing.
Yeah, I agree with you.
in India, ONGC is already into it. I'm fortunate. I was fortunate enough to have done an internship with them, and they are already into that. They have established these kind of systems, everything. So they're far ahead in already in their processes. That's what my learning is so far. ONGC, yeah, I'm talking about.
Yes, good evening. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yes, sir. I just would like to add one point, that is, we were talking about preventing the human error. So actually, there is one term which we used in lean, that is Pokayoke.
Pokayoka. Yeah.
Yeah, Pokayoka.
It's called mistake proofing.
Yeah, mistake proofing.
Yeah.
So basically, like we can say that it's a mechanism, it's a quality insurance mechanism, which prevents the human error actually.
Yeah, they call it design things to prevent human error by design.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
So-
that's a very powerful concept of TPM, Pokayoka.
Yeah, TPM, a lean methodology.
That's right.
Yes.
Any
Thank you.
other question you have?
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, first of all, thank you so much for this very informative session, and this would be really helpful for us as teachers to, share with the students in the classroom. Sir, I would like to know from you that in agile methodology, there is an incremental and there is an iterative development. So, if you can throw some light on both of them, what is the difference in iterative development and the incremental development that happens in Agile?
Okay. So the Agile has got two words. One is called agility and second called speed. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So how fast you can change. That's the entire concept, agility. Okay. So
Okay.
in our company, there's a concept called PIP. We call it Performance Improvement Plan. Okay. And we have a target of around $45 million of saving that we are going to do through improvement. Okay. I will show you a live document as to how we go about it. So typically what happens, every person in the company are supposed to come up with improvement plan month after month, irrespective of how many years we have been doing. And that becomes the source of our discussion. So let's say in a monthly meeting, every time I will have the monthly meeting, 50% of my time will go about talking improvement and improvement and improvement. Okay. So just to give example, okay, I'll just tell you one minute to just show you a live demo of what happens. So let's say this is little confidential document, but I'm sharing, I presume. Okay.
Thank you,
This is
sir.
H1. Okay. This is how we do the cost saving. Okay. So 44 crore of target in 24-25, and we have already saved around 12 crore. Okay. This is how we monitor the sort of. This happens month after month. All the areas you can see, functional areas, different areas. So then budget, how much budget, A, B, actual saving, variance, the additional saving, total saving, variance. So this is how we monitor it month after month, month after month.
Yes, sir.
Could you get it now? So this
Yes,
is
sir.
now this is now an integral part of our thinking mindset, that we are so much improvement centric that everybody in the company has no option but to improve. In fact, every time we have a monthly meeting, we say that 60% of the manager's time should go around improvement, not around managing the operation. If you are spending too much time in managing the operation, something is wrong with the way you are managing the operation. Very clear.
Yes, sir. So, this is iterative as well as incremental?
Yeah, it is. There are two types of improvement. One is called, these are all, I'm saying, incremental improvement. This will be around, let's say, 80%. 20% will be mega improvement. For example, change of raw material.
Okay.
Change of raw material is a mega improvement.
Yes.
Change of OEM, mega improvement. Okay.
Yes.
Change of, let us say, source of a particular chemical, mega improvement, because you have to validate with the customer as to if you're changing the chemical, you have to get validated from the customer. So we also 20% of big improvements do come through mega. For example, in all our plants, now we are moving to solar power.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a mega improvement. So in our Baspur India plant, we have already gone live on the solar. Now we are deploying it all the units. Those are major improvement with regard to. So there are many discrete improvement, we call it, not linear improvement. That happens at 20% time.
Yes. So this is a radical change as well.
Yeah,
this
is
is an
radical
example.
Yeah, and also just to give a perspective as to how we get tied up is something which will help all of us. So the process is, this report that you are seeing, this report is presented in the board every quarter. So we have targeted $45 million of saving from all the improvements. Every quarter, all the units will come together and make a summarized report as to what is the total saving they have done vis-a-vis the budget.
All right, sir.
So you don't have any option of finding a way out.
So you mentioned that this is in the nascent stage in India, but the benefits are huge. You're saving a lot of money.
Problem is we all have, including all of have. have a functional mindset. The entire education system, the entire grooming has happened functionally. So for process mindset, you have to have a different customer and backward mindset. You cannot break the job. You have to integrate the job. We love breaking the job and making it the baby का 5 माह होता है डिस्टर्ब हो जाता है. That's how that's a big problem. So I don't know when this is likely to happen, but I
Yes,
don't know.
because it's been talked about since long, and has a lot of advantages.
Yeah.
So
Point is everybody loves hiring polyplex employees. Everybody loves because
yes,
they are so much trained. They are so much
yeah,
trained. People love to
yes,
hire polyplex employees.
yeah. So does this also mean that we are drifting away from work specialization?
So when we started the plant, we had that mindset. So what we decided that we will serve the society. So typically what happens, so let's say we have a total of 1,000 manpower in India.
Mm-hmm.
At any point of time, we will have 50% extra in the soft floor level. So we do not hire anybody from outside. Everybody who
Yes.
leaves us, there is somebody to take that position. So from last 10 years, we have not hired anybody from industry.
Oh, that's a big news, sir.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to ask is that can we orient the students also that something which is required in today's advanced world is the multiple specializations?
I think a lot of companies do come and see this entire working model, both our plant in India. If let's say if you are keen and if you have somebody to, I welcome all of you. Come here. We'll have a beautiful guest house, and we will manage the entire. So, but it is always good. A lot of colleges do come and see how do we work.
Yes, sir. That would be a very enriching experience, and
Yeah.
I
Please,
hope
please.
that yes. And thank you so much from my heart that you are offering us to come. That's a big thing, sir. Thank you so much.
And I think somebody is asking for my email ID. So what I request you, Susmita, can you just send this email ID to everybody? So if they have any query,
Yes,
they
sir.
can. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I will share it with everybody. And, along with the whole recording, when we share everybody's, I'll share. And right now, I'll share your email ID, sir.
Yeah, that would be great. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So we are at 7:30. If you got any query, otherwise we'll close the session.
Sir, last query. Last, your session is very interesting. So I just thought, sir, since we are talking about the process improvement, so why not in Polyplex? Why you people don't go for the implementation of a structured way of lean methodologies?
Lean.
Because like if we talk about the TPM only, TPM covers all your parameters related to your safety, health, everything, quality, maintenance, everything. So like, why not TPM or TQM or something like Six Sigma? Why not like a structured approach of the lean?
So we are thickly involved in TPM from last 25 years.
Okay.
So all our documents, everything will be TPM aligned document. We got TPM Excellence Award.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so we are very much aligned to TPM concept. This is not a matter.
Okay, so like your organization is already being recognized from the GIPM, like.
Yeah, that's right. We did not repeat the certification, but we had one TPM Excellence Award. We did not repeat it, but everything that we do is aligned to TPM concept. Be it Gemba Kaizen, give it Kobutsu Kaizen, give it Jisoo Hosen. Every concept is around TPM. Everybody in Polyplex is so much familiar with the TPM concept.
That's great. That's wonderful, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. I think we have covered majority of the queries from the participants.
I have one query, sir. Like, since we're discussing, I would like to put forward my thought. Like, there's a company, you are running a company which is like very successful. So why not have incorporate some of your processes into the curriculum of some of our courses, so that.
I attended one workshop in I think the Confederation of Industries, and there I proposed that if the industries are interested, we can volunteer to sort of educate The problem is it is not about the intention. Is the problem is how much do we commit as a leader? So the top bosses are so much aligned to the profit and the quick gains. These require little deeper level of appreciation.
Right,
So
sir.
I would love.
And the gap is so huge that it'll be in the beginning you'll find it very difficult to come to the level of the students because but that
Very
is
difficult.
required. And in the long run, I think it will happen. In 4 or 5 years, it will be a necessity.
For example, the manpower requirement in the process-based structure is 30 to 40% lower than the functional-based structure. The number of managers is 50% lower than the functional-based structure. The gains are huge, but it takes time. People don't have time and patience.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you so much for the feedback. Thank you.
So I think this will help people to understand the newer way of doing business, I would say. And since we have implemented it, anybody who's interested can come and visit our site. And we have a lovely guest house, beautiful place near Nainital. You can have a lovely time around. So if you feel comfortable or you have any requirement, I will be more than happy to entertain you.
Definitely, sir. And definitely we'll look forward to more collaborations and more interesting sessions with you. And this is something which we are definitely going to propose it further. Thank you so much for your
Thanks a lot, everybody. Good night. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Coming to an end of the first session for today, Mr. Sunil Kumar has actually enlightened us with his not just the expertise but the various advantages of what can be the paperless organizations are actually achieving. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge. And
Thanks a
thank
lot.
you so much.
I will leave. Okay.
Yes, it was definitely an excellent session. Thank
Thanks
you
a
so much.
lot.
We'll move forward to the another session which we have lined up for today for all our participants. That is from Mr. Ashraf Sheta. Let me share and invite sir to this forum, Dr. Ashraf Sheta.
Hello.
I hope, sir, you are in the meeting. Yeah.
Yes, I am here.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. Dr. Ashraf Sheta is the founder and CEO of Ashraf Sheta for Consultancy and Training. He is a prolific writer with more than 50 publications focusing on teaching cases and addressing the challenges of the Egyptian business environment. He has been recognized for his contributions to case writing, receiving the Prize Award for AUC Emerald Case Writing Competition 2020 and the EFMD Award Case for Case Writing in the Family Business category. Sir has collaborated with prominent organizations such as UNESCO, Transparency International, EU, IOM, and Execution Education at AUC. His work with Women Entrepreneurship and Leadership Program, developed by the Wharton School of Business, highlights his commitment to fostering entrepreneurship and leadership, particularly for underrepresented groups. Sir has varied and diverse experience in the areas of entrepreneurship, small business development, family businesses, innovation, and strategy. We are honored to have such a respected figure in entrepreneurship education with us. Thank you so much, sir, for being here for this session. Over to you, awaiting a very fruitful and enlightening session from you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Navita. Thank you, Dr. Tharmithta. And I'm happy to be here with you for the next 90 minutes. However, I want to share my presentation, but the host, you should allow me, please.
Sir, I think you are the host now and you should be able to do it.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I can share it now.
Yes,
okay.
Sir. I have made
Thank
it.
you. Okay, here's my presentation. Just a minute. I think there is something wrong with the internet here. Ah, yes, that's it. Thank you.
No worries, sir.
Okay, now it's good. Can you see everything here?
Yes, sir. Very clearly.
Okay, as you can see, and later on you will discover that I'm coming from a practical background. I was in textile for nearly 30 years. I spent the days of my life since I was 14 years old till lately, maybe it was uh, since 2012 until 2012. So my background is a little bit more of a practitioner rather than an academic. So I will go to the point. I made some sort of distribution of the agenda. It will give some sort of an introduction about 4.0, which I think that you have covered throughout the past days. And then maybe there's something that might be worth attending to, the Industry 5.0, which is the era that we are living in nowadays. And then moving on to smart manufacturing, the future of production, and examples of Industry 4.0 cases. And last but not least, my hobby and profession is related to writing case studies. And I think this will be very useful for people who are coming from academic background. This is useful, and when I will explain later on, and it can be a source of revenue for the uh, writer and for the organization or the university. And then I will go into questions and answers. To give you an idea, just background and introduction about 4.0 for the people who does not know about Industry 4.0 right now. Okay, we started with the industry was 1.0 developed in the United Kingdom in 18th century with the advent of water and steam power with Robert Stevenson and the rest of the people who have been into the steam engines. And then we moved on to Industry 2.0 in the 19th century also, which was dominant with the assembly line of that was invented by Ford Automotive. And then we moved into Industry 3.0 1970s, adopted electronics and devices within the machines and semiconductors revolution. And these are the examples. I usually put this picture because it is some sort of a nostalgia where I was brought up in a textile factory. That's why I'm really fond of being in operations. In fact, I lost my path into strategy and knowledge management, but I'm still in love with the operations, especially in textiles. I don't know whether any one of you is familiar with textile industry or not, but I think India itself is a hub for textiles. So I usually put this picture, and then I move on into the second industry revolution, which was related to Ford and the assembly line. And then we move on to Industry 3.0, which later on took us into the semiconductors era and the computing era. And last but not least, we moved on to Industry 4.0 with the advanced robotics, 3D printing, and Internet of Things, and artificial intelligence, and big data. I guess that this part you know about. I want to summarize the Industry 4.0 as a collective term of technologies of value chain, including cyber physical systems, monitoring physical processes, Internet of Things, CPSs, and communicate in real time. It is presently being implemented with production systems using computer technology, and it enables communication with other systems. I don't know whether you saw this type of production or not, but I have seen this type of production using robotics, especially in the automotive industry. And I do not want to relate this only to robotics in automotive industry, but I'm also working as a trainer and a consultant in the banking industry, which was really amazing for me that we use RPAs within the transactions. And in fact, it has saved a lot of time, maybe 100 times shorter in cycle times than doing the transactions manually. I'm working with a bank nowadays, practically, it's called Commercial International Bank. They used to have 9 RPAs maybe 2 years ago. Now they have around 13 RPAs. So this is a practical example of how can Industry 4.0 help in the reducing cycle time and the operations. So moving on to what we call Industry 4.0, although I know it was not a part of the topic of the conference, but I think it is really worth taking into consideration. So the European Commission has turned Industry 5.0 as the vision of industries to think beyond increasing productivity and efficiency, which was the main concern of Industry 4.0. It is more or less delving into contributing to society by placing workers at the center of production process. The idea is we have to take into consideration the sustainability development targets or impacts. If you remember the 17 development goals of sustainability developed by the UN, this was not taken into consideration at the beginnings of the Industry 4.0, but nowadays, moving into what we call the Industry 5.0, we take the humans into the center of our interest. So in the past, we have the physical world, we have bio-inspired technologies, energy and efficiency, autonomy, and the virtual world where we have cybersecurity, data transmission, and artificial intelligence. But nowadays, the shaded area is human-machine interaction, digital twins and simulation, which is a further explanation or a further evolution of the Industry 4.0. So taking this into consideration, it is not only about economy. The value generation is mainly about economy, ecology, which must be taken into consideration, and society. This is a simple explanation of the framework of Industry 4.0. Okay. Moving on to what we call smart manufacturing. Seeing this evolution as someone who has been into textile industry with nearly, I can say, half automated industry, moving into smart manufacturing, we're seeing what the evolution has been. We moved on from shuttle looms and into nowadays we move on to smart manufacturing, also in textiles. According to the National Standards and Technology, NICT, smart manufacturing is fully integrated collaborative systems. It integrates manufacturing assets of today and tomorrow and sensors, computing platforms. Smart manufacturing utilizes concepts of cyber-physical systems, Internet of Things, cloud computing, service-oriented computing, artificial intelligence. The main pillars are cyberspace, manufacturing equipment, which can help us to take decisions. Right. Okay. I will give an example of Tesla. Of course, I know that you all know about Tesla. They have a new dimension of casting systems, an efficient body shop, pushing forward the boundaries of vehicle safety. The paint shop introduces new generation of color, tone, depth, and complexity. no human interaction whatsoever. The painting shop is completely isolated. It's in Berlin, bigger Berlin, and it's completely isolated with robots and no human interaction at all. We also have, if you know the company Bosch, we have it in Bleibach or Blechach in Germany. It's a global manufacturing of automotive technologies, anti-lock braking system and electronic stability programs, requires efficiency at the lead plant. They use tablets for connectivity with overlooking 150 machines operators at the plant. Performance tracking system detects cycle times, deviations of mere milliseconds, enabling operators to react quickly and interactive at the earliest stage. Furthermore, an operator support system displays errors and provides recommendation of how to fix them. This is only the beginning. So let us move into something nice, a video about this. I hope that you can see this. Can you see the video?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But I think, sir, the audio is not there.
It's muted?
Yes, the audio,
okay.
only the video is.
Okay. Just a minute. Just a minute. I will try to share it again.
No worries, sir.
Okay, share sound. Okay.
Innovation.
Now is it okay? The sound?
What seemed
Yes, sir,
like
perfectly fine,
yesterday's
sir.
science fiction is today's reality. The fourth industrial revolution is at full speed. As pioneers of this new era, we at the Blechach plant operate a standardized production network worldwide. Our strategy is geared towards a digital factory. Our hydroelectric power station generates renewable energy. By combining energy and production data, we systematically improve our energy efficiency. Our digitized in-house special machine building unit paves the way for a fully connected production. The interaction with our machines is as intuitive as using a tablet. We experience our machines throughout the design and construction phase. To achieve this, we make use of virtual reality. Our holistic strategy towards a digital factory ensures the utilization of future-oriented technologies. To this end, we develop processes that will shape the world of tomorrow. The complete automation of our flow of material through RFID streamlines our logistic processes and reduces stocks. Simultaneously, we create transparency along the entire value stream in real time. We're aware of the processing status of every order at any given time. This fosters a highly flexible environment. Furthermore, demand-driven material replenishment reduces the workload of our employees. In our relentless effort to improve, we utilize automatically generated analysis and evaluations. In doing so, we can focus on what's important, the availability of our machines. Failure losses on production lines are made transparent by means of standardized visualizations and address specific target groups. This facilitates a comparison and benchmarking of our machines on a global scale. Trends and critical developments are automatically detected and reported to our operating personnel before output losses occur. We record potential error sources. Relevant video sequences are intelligently edited and subsequently analyzed. Reoccurring interferences are linked to known error patterns. Recommendations for action are derived from these patterns and enable our personnel on site to act as skilled problem solvers. Industry 4.0 also represents flexibility for our employees. Mobile shift scheduling allows a quick and customizable shift organization. In our cafeteria, we experience the advantages of digitization on a daily basis. RFID technology improves the payment process and caters for a relaxing lunch break. Our success is based on the exemplary collaboration within our network of experts. In all of this, we pursue one clear objective: ensuring the future of our plant and thereby the future of our employees. Because there are some things you simply cannot digitize.
Very, very interesting. I think, let me, there are some people in the waiting room, so maybe we can allow them.
Yes, sir. And it looked like it was right out of a Marvel movie, to be very frank.
Very interesting. But
Yeah,
I have
very-
seen this, this type of factory. This is interesting. Especially, you can find such factories in Germany and Switzerland. And as someone who has been working in textiles, I've seen this factory in a company called Reuters. Rutger Rauti. It's in Switzerland, and the funny thing is, it is overlooking a very nice view in Switzerland near Zurich, and it's completely automated. So actually, I saw this by my own eyes, but not in Bosch. Bosch is in another place, so it's very interesting to see live.
And it is
Okay.
like as you said, it was Industry 5.0, and I think it's already there because they're focusing
Ye-
on their employees, and that is
ye-
what is going to be in the future, I feel.
It is already there, and if you allow me to share that this was some sort of an agenda for the future during the last World Economic Forum that was delivered in Switzerland, maybe 2 or 3 years before. So it is not an idea that came into their mind. It has some sort of a strategic alignment with the Sustainable Development Goals. So it is really interesting, but this is not something idealistic. So let me move later on into the issues of being into the industry 5.0 or 4.0, and this will be
Right,
a base for our questions.
Sure,
So
sir. Thank you so much.
thank you. Let me move just a minute. Okay. Okay. This is another idea of a company called Siemens. I guess that you all know Siemens. The company depends on 4.0 elements like collaborative lightweight robots, 3D printing, flexible automated guiding vehicle, digital twins, and we'll discuss the idea of digital twins for production and quality security measures and so on. Features in addition, features of their MindSphere Internet of Things. And I want to discuss this thoroughly. In my country, in Egypt, we have internet like like it is in India. So there is always the question on my mind, are we ready for smart manufacturing in a country where we have redundant failures of internet? This is a question. So I guess the idea of having the suitable infrastructure for smart industry 4.0 will be one of our problematic areas in Egypt. I'm not talking about India. Siemens has also been investing in technologies like AI, cloud solutions, and industrial age computing. They have a high degree of flexibility, efficiency, and so on. Let us see this factory in Dresden. Can you hear everything? Can you see? Is it okay?
Yes, yes.
Also very interesting Infineon and the company related to Siemens. But I want to move from what we call smart manufacturing into what we call intelligent manufacturing. We call academic and industry researchers have developed two paradigms to describe deep integration of manufacturing and advanced information/cyber technologies. Smart manufacturing and intelligent manufacturing. It is some sort of a similar concepts, but there are some differences. We move on from before 2000, digital manufacturing using computers in support of machine and system level. And then after 2000, smart manufacturing, we started smart manufacturing, where digital manufacturing leverages networking to adapt to dynamic environments and customer needs, improved by improved digital models. This is where smart manufacturing, as we know, stopped. Nowadays, after 2020, we moved into what we call intelligent manufacturing, which uses machine learning, big data, and Internet of Things to better integrate systems of humans and machines. What do you think is the intelligent manufacturing rolling about? Can anyone tell me?
Yes, I think, sir, it is like the errors drive you towards correcting yourself, and
Yes.
the manufacturing process learns by itself what to do rather
Yes.
than humans improving.
Yes. So the machine can improve itself. I remember, if you also, I'm a big fan of movies, especially Will Smith. Do you remember a film called I, Robot? You remember this film?
Yes, sir. Will Smith. I'm a big fan of Will Smith.
If you saw this, so the idea is that we will move into machines that can direct itself, it can move on and try to solve issues by itself. So one of the concepts related to intelligent manufacturing is what we call digital twins. So let us have a look.
Hi, I'm Patrick. Welcome to Tech Edge.
Can you hear everything? Is it
Yes,
okay?
sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Science fiction has been promising us digital versions of ourselves for a long time. We're still waiting for Ready Player One style virtual avatars, but digital simulations of real world objects, devices, and even cities are already here. Today I'm going to give you an overview of digital twins, what they are, and how they're used. So let's get into it. First, the basics. A digital twin is a virtual version of a physical object, process, or location that serves as a real-time digital counterpart. Digital twins are built by gathering all of the information and data about really anything of which you want to make a copy, and then recreating it in a digital space. Digital twins help make complex, costly, or even dangerous processes safer, more affordable, and more achievable. They're one of the key enabling technologies that's making digital transformation possible. Building digital twins is far from simple, but once created, they offer nearly limitless potential. Every individual component, the ways those components interact, and even the environment they exist in are digitally replicated. The digital twin then uses artificial intelligence to simulate the effects that changes in design, process, time, or conditions would have, all without ever having to subject the real-world object to those same changes. Would you like to see what impact 120-degree weather might have on the performance of your jet engine, but you don't want to risk flying one through the desert? Just increase the temperature on the digital twin, and you can observe the result virtually, modify its performance, and increase your success rate in the real world. Interested to learn if changing the maintenance schedule for your factory full of laser cutting machines will have a positive or negative impact on production? If you've built a digital twin of your facility, simply change the schedule there and find out. Let's say you're trying to optimize the traffic pattern around a new stadium being built downtown. Adjust traffic light timing, one-way street direction, or intersection design on the digital twin of your city and analyze the results. In a digital twin, sensor information from the real world is continuously gathered throughout the development, production, and operation, and fed to digital twin models. With the constant flow of data, changes made in the real world are reflected in the digital twin, allowing it to evolve as the project does. Digital prototypes can be created, tested, and refined during development, well before creating a physical product. When a product does move to production, digital twins can be used to refine the process based on real-time feedback from the equipment and operators. Once a product is in the field, its operation can be optimized by using the digital twin of that object to help inform everything from the best possible operating conditions and maintenance schedules to propose design changes or alternate configurations. So that's your super high-level overview of digital twins. If you'd like to dive deeper into the subject, we've had a chance to discuss digital twins with our partners at Intel and Inductive Automation during our OnLogic Live series. You can find that link in the description. Have a question about digital twins? Let us.
Okay. What do you think about this?
Industrial companies continue.
What do you think about digital twins? Is it revolutionary? What do you think? How can we use it?
Yes, sir, it seems to be revolutionary, but does this mean that one of the entities is in physical form and the other one is in the digital form? Is that so?
Okay. What else? I cannot hear the question properly.
Sir, I'm saying, does digital twin mean that one of the entities remains physical and the other one remains digital? Is that so?
Yes. Yes, it is. I want to explain it to you. If you are going to be a pilot, for example, you know they have some sort of a simulation training, okay, where
Yes,
you
sir.
go into some sort of a simulated cockpit, okay? So you act like a pilot. But now it is not related to training. It is related to going into real life situation, and through artificial intelligence you will know whatever you are going to apply, how it will affect the situation or the industry or even the urban cities. Do you think that this is worth looking at?
Yes, sir, it seems to be worth.
Okay, so now we are moving on not only through smart manufacturing, we are also going into intelligent manufacturing. So I want to give you another example related to Amazon. Let us see.
Look for ways to grow revenue and reduce cost. When you apply machine learning to the vast amounts of industrial data created by your systems, sensors, and assets, you can gain critical insights into your business to run it more efficiently. Machine learning can enable predictive maintenance by proactively monitoring the condition of your industrial equipment and alerting you to any anomalies, helping prevent machinery failures and expensive downtime. Computer vision, powered by machine learning, can automate visual quality inspection to identify defects quickly and accurately, even at the edge with limited bandwidth. It can also improve visibility of supply chain processes and assets by recognizing objects, such as parts or products, to automatically track throughput, or by reading container labels to optimize freight operations. Safety and non-compliance issues can be caught faster by automatically identifying potential problems, such as when forklifts stray into dangerous off-limit zones, and enabling you to send alerts to individuals for immediate action. Machine learning-powered forecasting combines time series data with additional variables to automatically examine complex relationships and build models that are up to 50% more accurate than simply looking at time series data alone. Harness your industrial data and optimize your business by using machine learning services from AWS.
Okay. Let's have a look at this last example about artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence and manufacturing are a perfect fit because in manufacturing we tend to produce many identical parts and products which generates huge amounts of data, which in turn can then be fed into the artificial intelligence algorithms and thereby help them to learn, improve, identify problems and process optimizations. Currently, there are many projects, experiments going on in the manufacturing sector, and of course, one of the areas where you see this a lot is the automotive sector. We talk about matrix production systems, where basically we do not have anymore the typical century-old linear production system, production line. Instead, we have basically the products, the cars in this case, being put onto a pod, and the pod moves through the factory in a way that is optimized for this specific product. Especially when you go to products or cars in the high segment, where each car is completely different from the next car. And therefore, a linear production sequence doesn't make a lot of sense. So this is not future science fiction, this is happening today already. A perfect example of the use of artificial intelligence in manufacturing are robotics. Right now, you need about 2 weeks of highly paid engineers to optimize the robots so that they can really do what they need to do. In the future, we'll have robots that do this by themselves. They will see how, let's say, the welding points are done, compare it to what they should be doing, and then learn and improve. There will be perhaps one engineer to overlook all of this, but the robots will learn by themselves using artificial intelligence.
Any comments? What do you think? What are the keywords that you can take from this video? Please go ahead.
Keywords is like, sir, robots are learning by themselves.
Very interesting, yes.
Human intervention is minimized, so errors are minimized, and therefore the resource allocation and the resource, the effectiveness of resource will be better because we'll be better by using the resources. And resources are already increasing population. We have less resources, so we'll be able to quantify more. That is what I could make out of this.
Okay. Any more comments? Thank you. Any more comments?
So, like the keywords are like advanced intelligent systems. Then we can say improve quality control. And yes, digital supply chain. Of course, digital supply chain and predictive insights like machine learning. It's provide basically insights to help to identify complex manufacturing patterns, and it helps in order to take intelligent decisions.
Okay,
One
please
line,
go ahead.
one line automating the make to order kind of production.
Okay. What about the idea of that contradicts with the conventional wisdom of having linear production? I think this for the future will not be there. The idea of having a linear kind of production will not be there. And this will allow us to have more of mass customization using artificial intelligence. So
Yes,
the
yes.
idea is not anymore about producing, if you remember the T model of Ford, which comes with a black color. It's not anymore. So if I want, for example, a car that relates to my type of thinking or my lifestyle or my taste, it can be produced. Someone raised his hand, please go ahead.
Yeah, sir, I want to talk about mass customization only. That means no piling up of stock, no warehousing, no
Yes,
transportation.
yes,
Me as a consumer, I know my taste, and you as a manufacturer, we are so directly connected that you don't need to invest anything into inventory. So your
yes,
robotics or an automatic is guiding me that yes, in future, as I'm aging, my requirements are changing, and you will be suggesting me, and I'll be taking about. It can be my
yes.
apparel, it can be my healthcare, everything. So your warehousing, transportation, they all would be gone. This is my take
Okay,
on it.
that's very interesting. So
Right, sir.
let me, yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to add, like it would be just like a family doctor and the patient kind of a this thing will be there. The relationship will be like that, that the production will be according to the particular customer, just like a doctor prescribes specific medicines to the patient. That it will be like that, would be, sir.
Yes, yes. But of course, I want you to remember when I put the suggested questions that there are some pros and cons for this issue or for this intelligent manufacturing concepts. So this takes us in the journey to what we call the future of production. While more value is being created, manufacturers are under increasing pressure. In this environment, capturing value requires fundamentally rethinking business models, remapping companies' strategic positioning and internal capabilities, external shifts, and emerging influence points. Okay, let me show you the idea of the microfactory, which will be prevalent, I think, within a very short period. In fact, there are some microfactories. So let me show you this.
I hear a lot of companies, meet a lot of clients, and
this may look like just another car factory, but it's actually a new microfactory, manned by autonomous robot dogs and robotic arms monitored by AI. It's designed to change the way cars are produced, and it's been built in the heart of one of the smallest and most expensive countries in the world, Singapore.
Typically, car manufacturers don't build car factories in dense urban cities like Singapore. But here it's going to be different from most car factories. Robots are going to do a lot of the manufacturing, and it's going to be a much more flexible model.
Microfactories reinvent the way cars are made by automating most of the process and building them in a cell rather than along a production line.
So this could be the future in which we talk in a couple of years from now.
Microfactories are one of the biggest changes to car making in a generation, and if the concept is proven, it could shape the future of the industry. For over 100 years, cars have been built in large plants, manned by hundreds of workers. The trend has been towards building bigger factories. Tesla's Gigafactory facility, located near Austin, Texas, covers more than 10 million square feet of factory floor space and has the capacity to build more than 250,000 vehicles a year. By comparison, Hyundai's new microfactory in Singapore stands just over 935,000 square feet. The car makers to the plant could produce up to 30,000 cars a year. Hyundai has pushed aside the traditional assembly process to allow for a much smaller footprint.
Behind me, there are robots that are putting together the final finishing touches on a car. Typically, in a more conventional manufacturing process, that would actually largely be done by humans. It would be done on a long assembly line, which doesn't allow for much customization.
In traditional auto factories, vehicles travel along a linear path and parts are installed along an assembly line. While the procedure is increasingly automated, the basic process hasn't significantly changed.
Here it's different. It's a cell-based model, which means that there are different cells around the factory floor that are focused on different tasks, and that actually allows for a lot more automation.
In each cell, robots are tasked with installing several components of the car before it's moved to the next zone. Cells can be modified with different instructions, from installing parts in an identical car design to assembling a different vehicle altogether. Hyundai says that more than 50% of the manufacturing process at its Singapore microfactory is done by robots. Automated ground vehicles move the cars around the factory, while four-legged robots equipped with AI cameras monitor and analyze the assembly. Issues identified by the robot dogs are then fixed by human workers.
Even though we're a small factory, we're producing cars as a mass manufacturer. So what allows us to do that is the usage of flexible automation and a large portion of systems intelligence behind to orchestrate the manufacturing.
Hyundai says because production is highly automated, only about 100 workers would be needed to produce the plant's capacity of 30,000 cars per year. That means a worker at the microfactory could produce 2 to 3 times the number of cars compared to a person in a traditional factory.
For sure, we will still need large-scale factories. We will still need to produce as many cars as possible in the most effective way when it comes to overall mobility. But we feel that the answer is not only that, and that in an urban environment, having a smaller factory that allows us to produce as many different types of mobility devices in a cost-effective way is absolutely critical.
Hyundai's plant in Singapore is the country's first auto factory in over 40 years. While microfactories could allow wealthier countries to rebuild manufacturing industries, the move toward greater automation will mean fewer manual jobs for workers.
In a typical assembly plant, you would think for the assembly operation of high single-digit to low double-digit percentage of automation, of automated tasks. We are at around 50% already. When it comes to logistics, the provision at the right time of the right part to the right cell is again something where we've automated over 60% already. It's also in very low double-digit in other factories. It's essentially manual.
Microfactories are largely untested ground for the auto industry. Arrival, an EV startup producing vans, has committed to manufacturing their vehicles out of microfactories. However, the company has only delivered a small number of the vehicles it forecasted out of its plant in the UK. Arrival has struggled to ramp up production and have pushed back a planned second microfactory in the US. For now, Hyundai says it's the only major car maker to start building vehicles out of one.
We have a thesis for the future of mobility. As we test the market, if we realize that this is right, you could see smart urban mobility hubs in many different urban environments.
While the concept behind microfactories remains unproven at a mass scale.
Any comments?
The size of the challenges that we are facing today in manufacturing.
Any comments from your side? Hello?
Yes, sir, it is revolutionary. Like there's an effect even in India. Hyundai is really going up, you say, about market share, and this is because they are customizing the cars very quickly, and then they're using agile technology because particularly in India, sunroofs are very much in vogue nowadays. And Hyundai was the first one to give it in the least cost because India is a very cost-sensitive market. And then this kind of manufacturing will help do that because they can add more things very quickly rather than if it is a linear line, then you'll have to implement this in the whole process. And here you don't require that. You've got cells which you can do that, and it's very, very revolutionary.
Anyone did travel to Singapore before?
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Dr. Sarmista,
Yes,
How
sir.
do you think, what is the area of Singapore? I'm not intimidating you.
Well,
I'm just
well,
asking.
oh,
I
I'm
think,
so poor with my geography, sir.
no,
am.
I think it's for India, for a country like India, it's like a neighborhood in a city like Mumbai. It's a small neighborhood, okay?
Yes,
A
it's very
neighborhood.
small. Yes, sir, it's
Okay.
very small. I know that much, that it would be
Uh,
of the size of a, like, 1/3 of Uttar Pradesh. I think it would be. That
yes.
would be the big state, yeah.
Uh,
Singapore is only as big as Chandigarh, I think. Chandigarh is a city here in Punjab. I think Singapore is only big as that. Chandigarh and Mohali put together will make Singapore, I think.
Yes, and I went there and it's also very humid. But what I noticed from this video is that humans are working along with robots. So it is not only robots that are working. There are some humans working along, and there are human avatars. If you've seen the film Avatar before, if you notice that there are human avatars working with extra power. The idea is that at the end of the day, it is not only about applying Industry 4.0 or Industry 5.0, it's about the output or the outcome of Industry 4.0. So if you notice that the production or the productivity increased nearly 3 times, and you can put this micro factory within an urban city, and it's very easy with less pollution, and all of the employees working there will be in a very good state. So it is mainly about not adopting 4.0 or 5.0. It is about realizing the output or the outcomes of 5.0. So this takes us to another examples of industry 4.0 cases. Unfortunately, over Harvard Business Publishing, I had the experience of teaching some Indian case studies, but for the sake of copyrights, I was not able to bring them here with me. For example, a company called GLC in India, it's a very big company. It's producing soda ash, but they have adopted smart manufacturing, and they have done great success. But let me show you some example from open sources like sanitary ware manufacturing. This is sanitary ware ceramics. It's in Norway. Implemented mechanical arms, automated forklifts in fully automated integrated process, and Internet of Things controlled machinery. The results before introducing this, it was a labor-intensive and dangerous industry because most of the workers inhale soft powder, chalks. They also worked in high-temperature environment. The working temperature of an oven is about 1,200 degrees and carried heavy loads. Any mismanagement in terms of handling the materials resulted in the increase of defect rate. This was before applying Industry 4.0 or smart manufacturing. Let us see what happened after. After they have already applied technologies related to flexible manufacturing and improved production processes with self-driving forklifts, automated robotics, robotized arms, fully automatic conveyors, and all machinery is integrated through Internet of Things, resulting in fully digital audit trail of operation, keeping tracks of material. The workforce supervises, they only supervise. They only supervise. They are not going or intervening with the manufacturing or handling process. Supervise the automatic operations and continuously improves the process by fine-tuning. Let us go to the bottom line. Number one, output increased by 30%. Lead time decreased. Broader variety of products. Defect rate plummeted from 30% down to 9%. This is a great, great achievement. Uses of resources such as energy, water, heat, and raw materials was optimized, and so on. But what I'm really concerned about is the numbers. Look at the numbers here. In 2012, there were around 284 workers, and then 267 in 2018, 223. And take care of this because I will ask about this later on. But in 2012, the net profit was about 2 million euros. Now it is about 6 million euros. So the idea of being practical about Industry 4.0 must be related to the bottom line. Okay, this is one case. Let us go into another case related to kitchen furnishings. It is a kitchen furniture manufacturer. They use IoT controlled machinery and deployed intelligent systems on the assembly line to support workers. Before applying this, workers cut components from wood paneling. They manually picked up components and so on. The process was so inefficient due to high defects rate caused. The work was physically exhausting and part of the production environment was potentially unhealthy. But what happened after? After that, they adopted Industry 4.0 technologies and in flexible manufacturing. This machinery optimized cutting phase and so on. The finished products and the delivery destination optimized space. 5,000 components are now stored in the same previously used to store 1,000 components. So this, from an operations point of view, is related to inventory management. I just finished a case study. It will be published in Sage Business Cases, maybe at the beginning of next year. It was related to an operational issue related to how much can the inventory take. So if I'm talking about an inventory handling more than 5,000 components instead of 1,000 components, this is a big outcome. So let us take a look at the results. It reduced work accidents, resulting in safer environment, free of sawdust and powder. And I want to talk about sawdust and powder in Egypt. And I think it resembles the cases in India. There are a lot of people working in my industry in textiles and in other industries that might be suffering from what we call tuberculosis due to sawdust and powder and such issues. And lentils, if you know about lentils, that is produced through textiles. So if I'm working in a safe environment, which is related to the concept of Industry 5.0, I will be taking care of people. The idea is going to be human-centric, which is related to the Sustainable Development Goals as well. So we care about humans, which is one of the major outcomes of Industry 4.0 and 5.0. Look at the bottom line. In 2012, workers was 159. Workers here increased to 203 because they made some expansions. Look here, they had only 79,000 euros profit. Now they have 4.245, 4 and quarter net profit. So the idea of adopting Industry 4.0 and Industry 4.0 and smart manufacturing is really giving some sort of outcome. This is another case study of a a company working in maritime and shipping. It's very interesting. They produce yachts, customized yachts. Okay, customized yachts. Okay, so before, this company focuses on modularization, and you know about modular production, where they outsource modules from everywhere. But unfortunately, this did not help the cause of customization. So typical throughput throughout time is several months up to 2 years. What happened later on, that they were able, through 3D printing and other Industry 4.0 manufacturing, they were able to use robots. They were able to have better manufacturing or customization. Another company that is producing propellers called Gronoval. Okay, it's also in Norway. They develop producer thruster systems and maneuvering and propulsion of several different types. Before, they are improving the most important focuses areas related to manufacturing logistics, are improving the flow of materials, and they used IT solutions. After, the use of additive manufacturing like 3D printing, Pronovel, as it is expected, is implementing technology. The percentage of automated processes is expected to increase over the coming years, although not significantly. This is another example. But after finishing these cases, and I want to submit these questions to you, and I want some answers from your side. Are there any ethical considerations to be taken in a heavily populated country like India when I am going into smart manufacturing? What do you think?
I think, sir, in India, what is required is not big companies, but use of smart manufacturing in small and medium enterprises, so that where the ethical question of downscaling the what you call human intervention will be not be much. It'll be there, but minimum. But what is happening right now in India is bigger companies or bigger manufacturers are coming up, and the smaller ones do not survive the economy. So there should be some incentive wherein the government incentivize that smart manufacturing should first be given. It should be cheaper for the smaller manufacturers and the medium enterprises, so that the cons of labor not participating or not upskilling, and upskilling should also be done simultaneously, so that the person who is handling the machine, which is a physical machine, will not be able to handle a smart machine. It's very obvious. So so we need to train them in the factory itself. There should be some modular factories where you use the intelligent, like just like you said about digital twin, where you can create a digital twin and make people learn. We are using that in learning driving. Similarly, we can use that in the manufacturing sector, health sector. Health sector, it's already being used, but very peripherally. Now, that can be done. These are the negative impacts of Industry 4.0, is that the labor upskilling is a challenge, because most of them become unemployable after some period of time. And then India is facing it. The engineers in India are becoming around 60% are unemployable right now. So we need to also go back and do back engineering, and then put this into the coursework education, so that education also uses artificial intelligence and machine learning, even in management courses, not only in computers, so that we can upscale this. So I think it will be beneficial for everybody. I think.
Okay. Any other comments related to the pros and cons of applying Industry 4.0 in India? And I have another comment later on. You have any other comments?
Sir, I think.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Sir, I think being a very populated country, India, if it goes for smart manufacturing, and the machines will be part of the manufacturing, so a lot of unemployment may rise. This is what I feel, and because the population needs to be given jobs as well, and the economy may have a different side effect because of this. Although there are benefits of using smart manufacturing, but I think things would need to be streamlined in a proper manner, like China has done it. I think this way, sir.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, I have a comment,
Thanks.
if you allow me. We are thinking inside the boundaries. Our main concern, and I'm thinking this is only a personal point of view, my main concern is to have abundant resources. So if I introduced smart manufacturing, okay, in everywhere, if possible, of course, because it costs a lot, a capital structure or capital expenditure is really enormous. If I was able to introduce smart manufacturing, this way I can increase production, and the goods and services will be abundant, and the prices will be lower, which will be good for the people. But at the same side, I must think about expansion strategies. So, for example, if I'm selling only to one geographic area, I can sell to more geographical areas. If I'm selling or my goods and services are only sold in India, I can think about exporting to other areas. I'm thinking like a manufacturer. So the idea is that the opportunity is there, but think about it with not the existing demand, but the future demand. Population is increasing worldwide, and especially in a place like India and in Egypt. So there is an opportunity if we do, like you said in the beginning, doing some sort of upskilling and reskilling, and the population is increasing. So we will sell goods and services with economies of scale. This is a personal point of view. You have any other comments? Please go ahead.
May I?
Yes, please.
Actually, it's contradictory to what we were discussing about micro factories. As much I can understand, when we are using a lot of technology, so the first thing is education. So we need to first make people aware and educate. So what we are saying, a small villager who can really market or really cater to the local requirement. So it would be more economical rather than having a mass scale production, because it's like having an elephant. It's very easy to have an elephant, but to feed that elephant, again, you need to have a lot of resources. So when we'll be talking about at a smaller scale, there would be a lot of economies. What you are saying in terms of exports. So export means basically there would be time lag in your production and delivery, transportation costs, then again your adaptation to the specific requirement of customer. So there's so many cons that with this specifically IT. I may give example of now you using UPI in India or online payment. So I don't need to go to use the ATM basically now. Earlier we were talking about branch banking. Like I have to have a token, then I'll withdraw the money, then I'll make the payment. I go to maybe electricity board office, then I'll make the payment. Now all these deviations shifted to ATM. Let me go and withdraw the money. Now no longer I'm using ATM to have physical currency in my hand. So I'm using digital mode. So how these intelligence basically in production, in servicing, is going to really have that scalability issue. Small scale entrepreneur, when it comes to a bigger scale, they fail. So there comes your this break even point, your zero level in terms of that yes, you will profit region will start. So that would be quite early. So in number of places, you'll find these people have an edge over the bigger giant manufacturer, which are talking about very capital intensive.
Yes.
So we need to really appreciate nothing. See, it's basically orientation of mind. Why we want to have unskilled labor? Why aren't we talking about and educating them? Why we are not, see, the employability of our engineers is the education system's problem. It's not the orientation, because they are not oriented that way. So we need to make those structural changes where we are making or raiding these workforce to work and not to have a degree for the sake of degree. We are not checking
Yes.
demand and supply. We are dependent upon outsiders, that EOS people who would involve or absorb our engineers. Why are we doing? We are a big nation. Why MNCs are coming to a developing country like India and then we are saying it's a big market? We are a market and we are a supplier. Why we are letting somebody intervene? When US can be concerned about their people, why can't we concern our people? We have a big issue, like so many issues, brain drain. Why we are saying that they shouldn't have their university over here? Why can't we build those kind of university that those smaller country, means less populated country, need to send their people over here? The way we can educate, being, see, we have to see our edge and we have to utilize that edge. In case in technology also, we supersede, so nobody is going to get unemployed. I'm sorry. So we are talking about so many things, drones to in agriculture. So our wastage would be less in the sense we are talking about sustainability nowadays. We are wasting a lot of resources that include our workforce. We have something called disguised unemployment. So there's so many things that I don't get scared. The only thing is we have to orient people. And at structural level, at governance level, unless the people at top, they think about these things. Why should we be very considerate or I will liberal in giving or promoting mediocrity? I'm sorry, I am not in the opinion. We have to be competitive and self-reliant specifically. That is my take on it. There's so much that I
Thank
can
you.
talk about, but I don't want to.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Mamta. I appreciate your opinion. And I totally agree that there are pros and cons, but the prevalence of smart manufacturing, from my point of view, is imperative. It might not be suitable. We will have agonies in Egypt. We are also heavily populated, like India, of course, not compared. We have around 106 million population, but at the end, we are suffering. There are some factories that will going to prevail. There are some factories that are going to be closed. I think, unfortunately, only the giants who can be can avail some sources of money and technology will be taking care of, will replace all the small and medium and micro enterprises. Unfortunately, these are the cons of having smart manufacturing. So let me move on. This can take a lot of time to discuss. Let me move on to something that might be of interest to you as faculty members. Who writes cases within this session? Who write case studies, teaching cases? Anyone?
I do, sir. I do. I do.
Thank you.
I write small cases.
Very interesting, doctor. So we
I
have.
did too, sir.
Okay, so we have 67 participants. We have 2 or 3 who can write cases. So I want to move with
I'm
this.
sure, sir, the number will be more because
Okay.
every faculty uses case and can read and have to refer to them, and sometimes automatically draw the inclination of writing to it. And of course, I think they are not able to express, but I think the number will be more.
Okay. So, of course, this can take 3 or 4 days, but I'm going to encapsulate it in the remaining time of the session. Okay. So let me give you an idea about myself. I am originally a civil engineer. Unfortunately, I did not work in civil engineering whatsoever. I work in a family business, our family business in textiles. And I believe, as I mentioned in the beginning, that textiles is a very popular industry in India as well. So I started working when I was maybe 13 or 14. Moving on from being just sweeping the floors to being a mechanic to being a supervisor to whatever. I moved on from being a civil engineer to a textile mechanic and so on. Then when I took my MBA and DBA, I went into the academic and the consultancy and training field. So this is my experience. So this led me to being interested in writing cases, especially in the fields that I really love. On top of that, the family business because I'm coming from a family business. So all of the agonies that is related to family business, I've suffered. Also, I was able to establish the family business as an academic discipline in Egypt in spring 2017 at the American University in Cairo. And also entrepreneurship, where I started it in 2008, strategy, corporate entrepreneurship, operations, and innovation. The question is, why case studies from your own point of view? Why would you like to write a case study? Of course, you can write a research paper for the sake of promotions because you are interested in research and so on. Why do you think we write case studies? Any
Because they are more real. Because they are real. The research paper is actually we are putting the old data, analyzing it, and it is not real time. Whereas case study is much more real time, where I write a case study and then I take point of views from say 20 students. I put a case study as an assignment, then 20, say in my case it is around 160 students. So I'll get 160 point of views, and that is just like a brainstorming session where data is created in real time. Thinking of 160 different students. So I feel that writing a case study is one part, and what the students analyze is the other part. So for me, the other part is more important. I inquisite them, and then they become creative, and then they come up with solutions. And it's all about solutions. In research, we come to conclusion. We come to conclusion, but this is solutions.
Okay, thank you, because what you said is really what I believe in. Number one, we want to link theory to practice. Number two, for the students, sometimes theories are sometimes boring, or almost most of the time. This is my personal experience. I do not want to generalize. Where there is a new trend of adopting case-oriented courses, and this was my orientation. I write cases with my students. Of course, I wrote standalone cases, but I also write cases with my students. Also, there is a difficulty in communicating theory to the business environment. There are also in Egypt lack of literature about real-life cases which can help business to evolve. And by the way, this is very interesting. Usually in Egypt, not in India, we use Harvard Business Publishing, we use Ivy, we use Emerald, we use different kinds, but they are not with local relevancy. So there was not enough cases with local relevancy. The only cases which I found similar to our Egyptian context was the Indian cases. The context is similar. The way of life is also similar. So it was to a great extent very, very effective to my students. Also, there is a misperception about academia from the perspective of business society. The business society, and I've been there, thinks that we are also academic, as if it is some sort of an insult. They told me, and I used to be a businessman, now they call me, Ashraf, you are being an academic. This is too academic. And I told them, guys, I've been there. So I have the business side and I have the academic side. So there must be some sort of an intervention or a relationship between both sides. Dr. Mamta, please, you want to mention something?
Yeah, actually, I also agree with this. All these theories have been developed in the US context. The only
Yes.
thing is we keep on feeding our students with those theories rather than developing our own theories which are contextual. Your skin color, my skin color, the temperature we have been brought in, the attire completely is very much dependent upon our environment. And we keep on feeding, okay, remember this model, these 4 P's and 5 C's, and they don't really understand the relevance in their context. Unless we relate, what is the company name which is not existent in my country, they'll not understand. So the thing is that adaptation part that we can do and make them understand you do have your mind. You can develop your own theories. You can give your own framework. Why can't we have maybe 3 B's? So the only thing is it's a copy paste kind of thing that we are not
Thank
letting
you.
them reach to that higher level of
Thank you,
creation
Dr.
of
Dr. Mamta.
appreciation.
I
Yeah,
agree with
thank
you.
you.
And because I am my degree is in knowledge management, so I was supposed to read about strategy and strategic management. Even the gurus of strategy who were with Indian origins, okay, they wrote their books in an American context. So it was not that relevant. The only book that I really enjoyed to a great extent, if you remember, is it was by C.K. Prahalad, Fortune at the Bottom of the Pyramid. This is really interesting. This is what is related to our kind of society. And this was really needed in the case studies. The case studies is about USA or England or Norway was not related to my country. So there was a need related to developing a literature review in case studies in Egypt. My evolution was really, yes, please, go ahead.
Yeah, no, please, you may complete, then I'll speak some.
Okay. My evolution, my personal evolution, that I started with micro cases for freshman students for the exams. It was nearly by coincidence. We had a course called the Introduction to Business, and it was mainly built on simulation technique, but there was some questions that were supposed to be asked through a case study, a micro case. And then I started writing cases that's coming from my real life, okay? In fact, I wrote a micro case about my company, and it was very interesting. So I thought about why not publishing it? And I was able to publish it. On 2017, I started writing long family business cases. And when I say long, it means long, more than 20 pages, including teaching note. And I will talk about teaching notes later on. And then I started writing mini strategy, entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurship cases with students, and also long corporate entrepreneurship cases in 2020. What happened? I have 20 internal cases in the reviewing phase, 41 cases published, and all of them were peer-reviewed with case focus, in NACRA Association, Sage Business Cases, Case Center, and in other conferences. And I will tell you the degree of difficulty. This is the most difficult, by the way. Emerald, emerging markets. Because this, you must take the degree of difficulty into consideration. And case focus, and I have several cases. And case center as well. We took 2 awards, one from European Foundation for Management Development, okay, and another one from Emerald, second case. And by the way, this case was pre-write. And then when they publish it, they took several months. And this takes us to the idea of difficulty. If you are going to publish in a case in a publishing house with one peer review or double blind or triple blind. People think that writing case study or teaching cases is very easy. In fact, it is not, depending on the publishing or the publisher that you are going to write with. But before writing cases, you should master case analysis. Dr. Kumar, you want to ask about something? Dr. Kumar?
Yes.
Oh, yes, you
Sir,
wanted to ask
sir,
about something? Yes.
yes. Good evening, sir. Good evening,
Yes,
sir.
good evening. Good evening.
Actually, the real learning is learning by doing, and you have great experience that you are writing the cases, and small case leads to writing big cases. And in India, present just around 5 years, the Indian knowledge system, people are already in the modernization era. They are more westernization or following the textbook in management from Western countries and European and American publishers and the books and authors. But actually, India is a vast reach of culture, and these things are imbibed upon now Indian knowledge system. And the indigenous psychology, indigenous things which are coming into picture nowadays. And certainly it will throw light to all of the world that uh, India is the knowledge center earlier in since last 5,000 years ago. And now also people will learn it. Sir.
Thank you. But I just want to tell you that mastering case analysis is the stage before case writing. So the idea of mastering case analysis, and there is a lot, and I would recommend a book related to case writing and analysis that is published by Harvard. And I want to give you a quote: reading and writing don't inevitably go together. You can read without learning a thing about writing, grammar or spelling, although you certainly cannot learn anything about writing, grammar or spelling unless you read. So the first step is to read and analyze. Number two, these are the steps for case analysis related, and this will take a lot of time. Unfortunately, I'm running out of time. So you must master the case analysis, you yourself and your students. And this is very important to develop their critical thinking and to tell them that there are no right or wrong, especially in business. And one of the main things that I always stress upon is that me as a professor, I do not own the absolute truth. Otherwise, I would have been the greatest businessman in the world. I would have been the owner of Tata, for example. And I'm not a businessman. I'm just a professor who have some opinions. So let them play, let them take some sort of ideas, propose some ideas, and do not say as a professor that this is right or wrong. There are some guidelines related to case writing. For example, within the format, number of words, spacing, it differs if you are going from a micro case to a middle-sized case to a long case. Also, the structure differs from different disciplines, from family business, but always end with a dilemma. People like the dilemma. Start writing and do not end the case with a solution. Otherwise, it will be some sort of a film, and you can know the ending before seeing the film. It will be something that is related to burning. We say burning, you burn the film, okay? So for family business, family dynamics, issues, ownership, governance, succession, entrepreneurship, and so on. So these are related to family business cases. Entrepreneurship cases is also very important, related to profile. These are the sections that might be useful when you are writing an entrepreneurship case, and you always end it with a dilemma. Also, the context must be localized, not related to something foreign. Strategy cases is very inspiring for me, especially that I work also as a consultant. So most of my work is related to strategy. And you always end with a dilemma. You have a company opening paragraph and so on. Students are very fun if they write or they are part of the case. In fact, something that I want to share with you, the case is published not with my name. It is published with my name and the student's name. And I want to give you, it is not a secret. Some publishing or publishers, they can give you remuneration for case write-up. And this is great. And I used to tell my students at the American University in Cairo, you're always spending money. This is the only instant that you took money from the university, not directly from the university, but from the publisher. We took the money. I remember we took 500 euros from a publisher, and we split it up between me and the students. They feel very, very motivated, and they feel that they are in a practical life. It is not just theory. And I'm not saying that theory should be ignored. I'm saying that theory is necessary, but not sufficient. These are related to corporate entrepreneurship cases, operation cases. This is very interesting because also I'm coming, as I told you before, from a manufacturing background. But the idea is how to write the challenges, how to build the script. One of the issues is related to the opening paragraph. The professor and the students needs to have some sort of imagination. It is like you are going into a film and you are giving some sort of a wrap-up about what's happening into the case in order to attract the attention of the people who read the case. Of course, as a professor, you must provide the rubrics from the beginning, including coverage of key points, quality of analysis, depth and applicability. The issue with us as professors that we sometimes ignore the rubrics, not only in cases, but in general, in the performance. The rubrics are really important because the students are always asking, how was I appraised? What was the performance? Why my performance is like this? So you take the rubrics and you give them beforehand, in advance. There is also case writing rubrics, stringency of language, content, quality of content, providing valid evidence, and so on. There is also case study presentation rubrics. One of the issues that might be important within the course, the case-oriented courses, is to give, if I'm, for example, having an entrepreneurship course, I give 3 or 4 cases where they present different aspects related to entrepreneurship. So a group talks about entrepreneurship strategy. Another group talks about technology entrepreneurship. Another group present about sustainability entrepreneurship. So the whole class takes the spectrum of entrepreneurship, and this also applies for family business and so on. Grading system for case write-up. This is very interesting. Final case is 5%, 10% for final teaching note, and I will talk about the problematic areas of teaching notes, case report, and so on. And I want to talk about here, we discuss 3 cases during the semester with students. We bring guest speakers to the class, but we face some issues. we have during writing the cases, you have to give rigorous feedback. You have I do 3 non-official feedback about case writing process. I do 3 official progress report with 5%. You must give feedback. Feedback is extremely important when you are writing a case with your students. We have 4 guest speakers. Participation is extremely important during case-oriented classes. We even provide them with internships in the companies that we are writing a case about them. We give them awards, is really important from the company. I sometimes invite consultancy companies, but there are some challenges that you must take into consideration. Number 1, students are overwhelmed with assignments. Load of obtaining information is mainly related to one of the team members. So for example, if I have a team member that his or her father owns the company that we are going to write the case about, unfortunately, most of the load will be assigned to him or her. Obtaining the right questions. Sometimes also, the company is reluctant to disclose information. Sometimes students are losing interest. Students who are taking courses as electives and unfair distribution of roles. I guess you have heard in your lives as an academic that when you are putting a project, some people comes to you and tells you, we have a team of 7 members and Ashraf is not doing well. The only thing that I say in this, you solve your problem and you tell me who write what, so that I can at the end, as a professor, give the fair result and appraisal for each student. Publishing cases. These are some recommendation for you. Involve students in choice of the case as early as possible. Conduct formal and informal reviews. Increase number of office hours. This is a drawback. Try to involve students. Provide timely feedback. Develop contribution template for the students. Relate the importance of case writing process of hiring to multinational. By the way, this is very important. One of the issues that we face in case writing, that we have, Procter and Gamble, for example, or Unilever Hindustan in India, when they hire people, they depend on within the screening process on case competitions. You know about that or not? Case write-up competitions or case analysis competitions.
Yes.
So if you were able to tell them that this case will help you to be appointed or hired in a place like Hindustan Lever, this will help them a lot. Relate everything to the practical life. Documentation of meeting, train the students to develop questions, prepare scenario to attract business to publish, and so on. One of the issues, and I want to end by this, is the teaching note. This is very difficult. In fact, sometimes some publishers take the case write-up without teaching note, but high-class publishers will not accept the case without the teaching note. It contains teaching objectives, target audience, sometimes learning outcomes, research methods, discussion questions, discussion plan, references. By the way, the reviewing, if it is double-blinded or sometimes triple-blinded, it would take 6 months to 1 year. And unfortunately, I faced some situations where the reviewers have contradicting opinions. And this is a big issue. So sometimes you can subjugate or take one reviewer into consideration and ignore the other, and they are always contradicting. So this needs some sort of acumen. Some questions at the end for you to answer. How do you think that writing cases methodology differs from one academic discipline to the other, and why? The second question, what are the elements that should be taken into consideration while writing a smart manufacturing case? Last but not least, what are the most problematic challenges that would be including in a smart manufacturing case study? What do you think?
I would take the first question, and
Yes, please.
writing cases methodology differs from one academic discipline to another, and why? It will differ from management. It will be more about the management objectives. In engineering, it will be more about how to go about that discipline. So cases will be different in every discipline. Even in business management, you will have strategy case will be different from a process case, from a product case.
Okay.
So it is different, and it is why it is different, because the objectives itself are different for the cases. Because if you want to learning objectives change. For example, I teach economics, so which is I think encapsulates many subjects. So writing a case in economics will be like the objective will be very different. We'll have a broader perspective because it will include finance, marketing, and also the economy, microeconomy, macroeconomy. So it will have a broader perspective, and it will be more difficult to write the case. But because it will be being objective in a case is very important, and being objective will be difficult here. So I face even in small cases, if I try to write, I think I'm wavering. And one I also want to tell you about. You had a feedback. You have different feedbacks from 4 reviewers, for example.
Yes.
So what I do in that case is I do not subjugate anybody. I'll take all their reviews, and I'll try to modulate my case into different directions, so that will be 4 different cases.
Okay.
That is how I do it. And that is the first question I'll take. I'll leave the questions, other questions, if anybody wants to answer the other question.
Any other comments related to smart manufacturing cases?
If there's nobody, I'll answer.
This because nobody wrote anything, including myself, by the way. I did not write a case related to smart manufacturing, but I wrote a case related to operations, inventory management, production engineering, and so on. But a case related to smart manufacturing will be very tough for the time being. But let me end with asking you all a question. What might be the challenges related to smart manufacturing? What will be the dilemma that will face a smart manufacturer or a smart factory owner at the end of the day? I want to put it like that.
Because it will keep on changing. Like the first timeline for technology change was, say, 5 years. Now it is 3 months. In the coming days, it might be weeks. So the smart technology will change.
So you're talking about technology evolution, number one. What about the dilemma of layoffs? What do you think? This is a dilemma?
There is a dilemma, sir. There is a dilemma because more people will lose jobs than we will create jobs, but that will not be in the proportion to the people who are going to lose jobs because of smart manufacturing. And that will be a dilemma, especially in populous countries like Egypt, where you are, and where India, where I am. So it is not easy to keep the pace up in upskilling also, and that is the biggest challenge.
Okay. What about the technological readiness?
We are not yet ready, sir, because we are at least, to be very empirical, US is at least 50 years ahead of countries like India and Egypt. So that's the biggest challenge.
So I believe there are a lot of dilemmas to be considered within the smart manufacturing
And so
smart
the cases will be
manufacturing
many.
era and discipline. Okay, so I think this is a prosperous area to discover. Unfortunately, I have finished my time. I hope, Dr. Sarmista, I hope that you are. In fact, I surpassed my time by nearly quarter or 15 minutes. Do you have?
No
So
problem,
the
sir.
time has stopped,
I'm
sir.
really
Time has
sorry.
stopped. Don't worry. It's
I'm
so
Sir,
really
I am
sorry.
interesting.
so grateful for you have taken out time for us, and that too at such a short notice. I asked, and you just agreed. I'll ever remain indebted. And in fact, on behalf of all the participants, I would like to tell that this is just the beginning of your sessions. We will try to get your time more so that all of us are enriched with your experience.
Thanks
Thank
a
you
lot.
so much. It's so wonderful. I believe everybody agrees with me. Over to you, Navita ma'am.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Thank
The
you.
I'll
time has actually elevated its presence because of your session. So, yes, we have been informed, we have gained some new insights. And one thing which I would like to point out here, and I think everybody will agree with me, that the use of these videos and what the current industry trends are, how they are developing, it was actually very informative. Not just informative, it was very creative way of giving out your idea which you wanted to convey. So yes, that was something which was very overwhelming. So thank you so much, sir. And I think everybody in the participant list agrees with me. And you can also go to the chat box that how much appreciation this has received. And I hope that this arrangement of us continues further as well for
yes.
the coming sessions also.
Thanks
Yeah,
a lot
sir.
for.
I would like to request you that I'll be taking your videos and the
No
PPT,
problem.
and I'll
It's
share it
not.
with the participants, because we are doing that with all the session. Will be creating a knowledge repository along with the video of the total lecture, sir, of
And
yours.
share it with
Please
me,
share.
please, Dr. Sarmista.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
thank you.
believe this is a beginning of a cooperation. If you need anything related to case writing, I'm here to help.
We
Thanks a
will
lot.
I think that we can work
have a
more upon
workshop
those
or something
case
like that, a
studies.
longer, day-long kind of, no, the way you do in Egypt.
By the way,
Ma'am, the case writing workshop, like kind of a thing which expands through the multiple sessions, how to develop a case, how to identify the prime idea of that. So
Yes.
yes, I think we could have given, though the time is always less for such sessions, so we could have elaborated it more. So
No, we'll do that, sir. We'll plan up
thanks,
and we'll have a
thanks a
long
lot.
workshop.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for the participants who gave me time and endured the last 90 minutes. Thanks a lot. Yalla,
so
take
much.
care.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, sir. Thank you so much.
Wonderful session.
Bye
Wonderful
bye.
thank you
session.
so much, sir.
Appreciable.
Bye bye. Bye.
Wonderful session. Okay.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
So thank you so much, sir. And for the participants, the link is here for your feedback for both the sessions. Kindly do fill in before leaving the Zoom call. And I hope that you appreciate these sessions as much as we have enjoyed and we have learned. So please do fill in the feedback link for today. Thank you, all of you. Have a great night.
Ma'am, kindly post them to WhatsApp group also.
That we will do, sir. Sure,
Regards.
but
Sir,
give us some time.
everything to the participants, everything, the PPT from the presenters, the video, whatever resources they have given, we will be putting up in a folder and we'll share it with all the participants after the sessions are over, sir. And also we'll be putting up the video recordings also for your, if you want to refer to them, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Asian Business School host team, Dr. Sharmishta and Dr. Navita, for organizing such a wonderful FDP. And we have enjoyed thoroughly last 5 days.
Yes.
Thank you,
Good night
sir.
to everybody.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, thank you. Good night.